CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
One mind, one team, one heart, one player through the hole, one goal from the start. To dominate the art of the black and blue and watch your Super Bowl dreams till they all come true.
Happy New Year from Foxborough. It's the Miami Dolphins taking on the New England Patriots, with our game today being brought to you in high definition by Sony. Our kickoff is next on CBS.
All is quiet on New Year's Day.
We had a couple inches of snow here in the Foxborough area. We're right between Boston and Providence on I-95, and that is our forecast today. It feels like 21. Slight breeze and flurries in the forecast. Bill Belichick, sixth season with New England. He owns the best record of any NFL coach since 2001. Nick Saban is in his first year with the Miami Dolphins. He was on Bill Belichick's staff as the defensive coordinator in Cleveland in the early 90s. He's coming off a national championship year at LSU. One of the inactives for the New England Patriots today is Teddy Bruschi, who hurt his calf in the Monday night game in the Meadowlands against the Jets. And some other inactives today, Randy Cross, big-name players across the board.
And these New England Patriots are thinking playoffs, which start next week here in Foxborough. In fact, it goes even to Tom Brady and how much we will see the quarterback on the NFL Today. We were talking about that he will be limited. We're not positive exactly how much we'll see him, but we will see a lot of Matt Castle. And we'll also finish this game off with Doug Flutie, appropriately so, the 43-year-old Boston College star, Heisman Trophy winner, and one of the greatest athletes out of this area will maybe finish his career here today in a regular season game.
Dolphins beat Tennessee 24-10 last week, and New England beat the Jets on Monday night by 10. It's the Miami Dolphins at 8-7 against the New England Patriots at 10-5. Olindo Mare kicks off. Andre Davis is back, and that goes out of bounds at the 10, which means it goes to the 40. And a very poor way for Miami to start things off as they take on the number 7 offense of the New England Patriots, led by Pro Bowl quarterback Tom Brady, having his best season statistically. Rookie left tackle Nick Cazier returns after battling a shoulder injury. And Kevin Falk starts for the nicked-up Corey Dillon, who is inactive today.
So far this year, Miami has not played in a real foul-weather game. It's appropriate their last game. They come here to New England and play in bad weather, but Murray seemed to be affected there on that pooch kick.
So after the penalty, which we told you would be at the 40, it's 1st and 10 for Brady. He's got Falk in the backfield, and he's got 3 receivers with Davis as the 3rd. And it's Brady airing it out, looking for Andre Davis. He had his defensive back beat, which was Sam Madison. It is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. How about that start?
Well, he's not going to mess around in this offensive line. We talk about the Dolphins wanting to get a sack record today. Well, they're not going to get it as far as the Patriots are concerned when Brady's in the game. Protect him well, and I'm not sure if he overthrew it as much as maybe he wasn't quite as fast as Brady thought he was.
Troy Brown is the 3rd receiver. Howard is the 5th defensive back. It's 2nd down and 10. A tackle by Sprague on the running back Falk. He's down at the 40 on a gain of a yard. The Miami Dolphin defense is number 20 in the National Football League coming in. Jason Taylor is 4th in NFL sacks. He's also going to his 4th Pro Bowl. Linebacker Zach Thomas is also going to Hawaii. He leads the Dolphins in tackles again. And longtime Dolphin Sam Madison may be playing his final game. More on that later on. 3rd and 9. It's Brady with a pass which is caught by Branch. It was right in front of the rookie Travis Daniels. He's close to a first down and near midfield. About a half yard short, as you see.
Yeah, about 1.5 feet, 2 feet short. That's a mental mistake by the receiver. There's no excusing a guy with a veteran savvy. I mean, a Super Bowl MVP like Branch ought to be very aware of where those sticks are and where he's going to get out. And as usual, sort of a trait inherited from Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick decides to go for it on 4th.
So it is 4th and 1, and this is Tom Brady, who takes the ball often in short yardage situations, creeping by midfield, gaining 2, down to the 49, and gets the first down. Keith Traylor is down, by the way, for Miami on the line.
It's one of the values of having not only a fairly physical inside of your offensive line, as the Patriots do. I think Neal and Mankins and them are very physical. Hochstein inside is a physical center, a guy that's filling in. But, I mean, Tom Brady's a big guy. You don't really associate huge size at quarterback with Tom Brady because he kind of looks like a Montana-sized guy, you know, not a real big physical. Tom Brady's 6'4", 6'5", you know, weighs 225 pounds or so. When he gets in there and sneaks, he can get down low and produce some pretty good yards.
So Keith Traylor is out. He played on that 04 Super Bowl champion New England team, but he is out right now. Jeff Skanina takes his place. Still 5 in the Miami secondary with Howard. It is a first down, the game-opening drive beginning at the 40 on an out-of-bounds kickoff by Miami's Olindo Mare. 1st and 10, Miami's 49. Watson is the tight end and looks like a 4th receiver as Brady again goes to work through the hands of Gibbons. Incomplete on the play, and coverage by linebackers Spragan, and he also had Howard there at 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, one of the things Bill Belichick is looking for in this last game is obvious. We talked about getting out of clean and healthy, but he wants execution. He wants crispness. He wants his quarterback Brady to get in here and bang, bang, fire. And so far, we've seen a little lack of execution out of the receivers and Brady.
2nd and 10. Kevin Falk starting today and gets back to about the line of scrimmage before Jason Taylor crawls on his back and allows him a 1-yard gain to about the 48.
Yeah, I know it drives people in production trucks in the television business kind of crazy, but more and more offenses are now going to this no huddle. Miami does it on a regular basis. It seems like everybody's got it as part of their regular package now, getting to the line of scrimmage, sort of imitating the Indianapolis Colts. It's not that you're hurrying to go, you're just staying ready to limit substitution patterns.
Sit defensive back is Jeremiah Bell. David Bowens has come in on the defensive line for Miami. 3rd and a long 9. No changes, still with 3 receivers out there for Brady.
Well, his coaches on the sideline, Nick Saban and company, screaming and yelling about this formation for adjustments.
Here comes Taylor in on Brady. There's a good block by Kaiser and a first down reception made by Gibbons, who's having a career year. He beat Lance Shoulders, who makes the tackle at the 31. An 18-yard gain on 3rd and 9. 31 in Miami.
Kevin, the adjustment was blitz by the defense, and the adjustment by the offense was great protection for Tom Brady, enabling him to follow through with that pass to Gibbons.
Here's Patrick Pass on 1st and 10. Moving a pile inside the 25-yard line of Miami. And all kinds of Dolphins are in there, including Holiday and Shoulders and others. A gain of 7.
You know, Patrick Pass, you talk about, you know, you're going into the playoffs, and Corey Dillon's not in this game with calf and ankle injuries. He's a great substitute for him, for Dillon. He is sort of a fullback / halfback type. And then you bring a Kevin Falk in, and you got your 3rd down pass run guy.
Traylor back in on the defensive line. He makes the great tackle there on Falk on that 2nd down and 3 with the gain of a yard to the 23.
Now there's the great value of a Keith Traylor inside. You talk to the people in Miami about the difference on this defense. 94 right there inside is a huge difference. Only 4 returning starters on this Miami defense. I think the assumption around the league is basically that they've won with a defense they already had, but Saban's winning now with a defense he's almost created.
Good point. Still 5 in the secondary. 3rd and 10. 10th play of this game-opening drive by New England. 23-yard line of Miami. Falk at the side of Brady. Brown is the 3rd receiver. Brady again, deflected, intercepted by Shoulders on a pass intended for Gibbons at the 14-yard line. Shoulders with the pick, his 4th interception of the season. and they stop the New England drive right in its tracks.
Throw on the money, catch way off. That is not consistency.
It's been a long time since Tom Brady has thrown an interception here in Gillette Stadium, but he just did. Shoulders picked it off, stopping a long opening game drive by New England. Miami takes over, 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Darian Barnes in the backfield with Ricky Williams and Farrat right to work. Gets away from Warren, being chased in the play by Beisel. And it is a pass intended for Chambers, incomplete. Sanders on the coverage. Miami's offense is number 15. 12-year veteran Gus Farrat makes his 15th start today, and with that, his next touchdown pass, he'll set a personal single-season high. Center Rex Hagnott, also starting at guard, is also the best lineman for Miami. Wide receiver Chris Chambers is going to his first Pro Bowl. He's had a terrific career year. 2nd down and 10, 14, Ricky Williams. And he was hit by Vrabel and spins into the grasp of McGinnis, lunging near the 20 on a gain of 6 against this defense, which is ranked 24th in New England. But it's their run defense, which has been terrific, led by Richard Seymour on the line. Linebacker Monty Beisel takes the place of the injured Teddy Bruschi, out with a calf injury. And Hank Poteet takes the place of the injured Asante Samuel. Poteet is the 45th different starter for New England this year. Here's a 3rd and 4. From the 20. Bam Childress is a 5th defensive back. He's also a wide receiver. And here is Farrat throwing incomplete to McMichael, who is covered on the play by Sanders. And it's 3 and out for the Miami Dolphins, who can't cash in on the interception.
Didn't quite get that one back into the receiver quick enough. You saw Bam Childress has been on the field there as a defensive back. Was signed as a wide receiver to the team here this week.
So much to our surprise, he's playing defense.
Well, you better be flexible and you better be versatile if you want to be a New England Patriot. That's the bottom line.
Here's Donnie Jones, number 1 net punter in the NFL. In fact, he is approaching a historic mark in the league, which we'll talk about later. Deep back is Tim Dwight. And from the 38-yard line, here is the speed merchant Dwight, who is brought down by Sammy Morris, a reserve running back at the 44. 7-yard return, 42-yard punt, 10-10, first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. The 244-horsepower Pilot, built by Honda. And by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it.
CBS Sports Line's NFL experts will have next week's playoff matchups covered from every angle. Get the latest news at CBSSportsLine.com. Second New England possession. Brady threw a pick the first time, 44-yard line after the Miami punt. 1st and 10. Great fake to Falk. Brady airing it out and looking for Branch. The coverage by the rookie from LSU, Travis Daniels, incomplete.
Well, good protection, but right now it's got to be a little frustrating for Bill Belichick. He talked about, I want to play Tom Brady, a limited amount, possibly at some point getting him out of the game, but until they play up to the standard they've been at, I'm not sure they shouldn't just stay in, keep playing, and see if they can get something right.
Roth and Skanina on the defensive line, 5 in the secondary. On the 2nd and 10, handoff going to Kevin Falk, who's brought down by Spragan. 47-yard line, gain of about 2.5 on the play.
So far, the two glaringest not getting it right are by David Givens out of Notre Dame, the young receiver. Both passes bouncing off his hands. First one they got away with. Second one was an interception, an overthrow on a bomb, and an underthrow on a long pass. So this has not been vintage Tom Brady, vintage New England Patriots offense so far.
6th defensive back, Jeremiah Bell. Starters on the defensive line back out there for Miami. 3rd and 8, 46. Brady hit by Bell, throws a pass, dropped by the tight end, Benjamin Watson, covered by Shoulders. 3 and out for New England. They got a punt.
Anyway, and part of the problem and part of the lack of execution, I think you have to look on the other side. This is a defense coming in here, looking to set a record for the franchise record for sacks, trying to put pressure on the quarterback, and Brady puts that ball, though laid out, on the hands, and it's again not executed.
Josh Miller is the 4th best punter. in terms of gross in the NFL, and he's punting to the number 10 punt returner in the NFL, Wes Welker. The Paxton long snap and the boot by Miller, and fair caught, 17-yard line by Wes Welker, a 37-yard boot. With 9:13 in the first quarter. Pretty day in Foxborough on this New Year's Day on CBS. Phil Simms says that the most important word going into the postseason is health, not momentum. Read the whole story on NFL.com and NFL on AOL. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, second Miami possession, punting the first time they had it, 17-yard line. First down and 10. Welker is the third receiver. It goes outside to Randy McMichael, grabbed by the rookie Sanders. He's out to the 26, picking up 9.
You know, Kevin, if this Patriots defense looks a little rusty, and there's a good reason. Last Monday night, they only played 40 plays. I mean, they almost need the Dolphins to get on a run here and get some reps in, because as a unit, last week they were off the field for almost an hour at a time during that game.
Starters out there defensively for New England on the second one by Farrat, throwing him back at the off-balance Darian Barnes. Incomplete on the play. Coverage by Roosevelt Colvin.
We talked a little bit about this in the very beginning of the game, about that difference between the number 3 and the number 4 seeds. I think the most important part of that whole thing is right here, is the top, is that you don't play the Colts until the AFC Championship game. You're still going to get the home game here next week, and potentially if the Colts lost, you might even get a home game in the AFC Championship game.
2 tight ends. Diamond has come in. Third down, 126. Ricky Williams slithering his way for a first down. He was tripped up by Vrabel. He lands at the 29, picking up 4 for the first.
I guess you're not going to say playoffs and the Dolphins in the same breath, though. You got to remember, if the Dolphins would have won that first meeting between these two teams, this game would be for the AFC East Championship.
How about that?
Yeah. Nick Saban has done a wonderful job, and if you're a Dolphin fan, be proud and be happy about what's going to be happening in South Florida the next couple of years.
Get a first down. Diamond is out. Marty Booker is in as the second receiver. And there is a Ricky Williams run with the Vrabel tackle back at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
You remember that last game too, Kevin. Down there in Dolphins Stadium. Miami scores this one to Chambers. They go up 17-16. And I think the Patriots, 2-3 plays later, it's Ben Watson to go back ahead 23-16, and then they had 1st and 6 on the 6 and couldn't get it in, Miami.
Second down and 10. Second Miami possession. Welker, the third receiver. Blocked by Ricky Williams. Time for the quarterback, Farrat. The tackle made by Ellis Hobbs on Marty Booker, close to a first down, 38-yard line, gain of 9.
And you've talked about already offensively some of the reasons Chris Chambers isn't double teamed, because we've spoken a lot around the league at the hot start Chambers got off to in the second half of the year, and how great he's played in the second half of the year. And though when you look at tape, he doesn't get doubled a lot. And normally you go, well, gee, our defense is kind of dumb. Well, they're not dumb, because you've got Randy McMichael in the middle of the field. You've got Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams running the ball. You've got Marty Booker on the other side. You just can't afford always a double team one guy.
It's a 3rd and 1. And this is the quarterback, Gus Farrat, at 34 years of age, piles over the 40-yard line for a first down and a gain of 2. A couple weeks ago, they took their offensive coordinator, Scott Linehan, did the Dolphins, from the press box down to the field. What have you seen in that move?
You know, it's almost coincided with this offensive explosion. I think it's an ability to get with the players right there, a hands-on feel to what's going on. Sometimes too many coordinators, in my opinion, get that kind of game of chess going from high above. They need to be in there and get that immediate input into the quarterback's ear, into the receiver's ear.
Gilmore, the third receiver, 7th play of a drive on 1st and 10. Chambers is in, pushed out of bounds by Poteet near midfield. In fact, he creeps into New England territory, 49-yard line, gain of 11. And Randy, I see a flag back at the 31-yard line.
You know, one of the things about Chris Chambers that I love, I think he's the best boundary receiver in the NFL.
Roughing the passer, coming into the chest, 15 yards, first down.
Boundary receiver.
Well, a boundary receiver is how you handle yourself on the sidelines, at the back of the end zone with those big catches. I mean, Chris Carter, to me, was an absolute master of that. The ability to hang over and almost levitate on the sidelines and getting ready to catch a ball and get the 2 feet inbounds and dance steps. But Chris Chambers is really doing it well right now.
This drive started back at the 17. It's a first down with that roughing on Ty Warren. The handoff to Ricky Williams. Getting a bear hug by Richard Seymour. He's going to the Pro Bowl. Gain to the 31. Gain of 3 on the play.
And this offense has got a lot of rhythm right now. And I tell you, in the last 5 weeks, it in general has had rhythm, especially Chris Chambers. You know, there's a reason this guy's going to the Pro Bowl. Not because, you know, he just blew his cover the last couple of years and people are figuring out how good he is. He has exploded in the back half of the season, and that's when you want to explode if you want to get to Hawaii.
Welker is out. Fullback Barnes back in for Miami. 2nd down and 7. There have been no changes defensively for New England on this entire Miami drive. Here comes Farad, who slides into the 25, untouched on the play. And it's a gain of about 6 to the 25 on that 2nd and 7.
That's one of the reasons you run these no huddles. You saw New England doing it. You're seeing Miami do it. It's very hard to substitute. And if you want to concentrate on one body on the New England defense, watch 52, Monty Beisel. He's in place of Teddy Bruschi. And he's going to do a lot of the same things. You're going to see him blitz from the same spots. You're going to see him be in the same pass defense areas.
2 tight ends, including Diamond. 3rd down and 2. It's Booker at the top of your screen and Chambers at the bottom. And again, no New England defensive changes. Here comes the blitz. Out to Ricky Williams. He's being chased by Vrabel. He's got the first down and run out of play at the 18-yard line. It's a catch and run of 8 yards. Another Miami first down.
There's new Ricky. You know, old Ricky, I think, would have ran to the outside and looking for contact. The lighter Ricky Williams goes outside now, looking to get around the corner, and that was actually a pretty good job by Vrabel of cutting him off. Ricky Williams now, I think, has really expanded himself as a threat, losing that weight and maintaining a lot of his strength. He's not the power runner he was, but I love the speed he's got now.
18-yard line, 1st down and 10. Good block by McIntosh. That's time for Farad, who throws. It's caught. It's Booker at the 1, grabbed by Poteet. And it's a 1st and goal on a gain of 17 on a drive, Randy, where Farad has converted 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, and 3rd and 2.
Well, any questions now on how good this offense that Scott Linehan has put in here in Miami and how well it's starting to play here at the end of the year and the tools they have to do it with? You know, Booker, Chambers, Williams, McMichael.
1st and goal at the 2, Ricky Williams, and he knifes his way in for a Miami touchdown. A 2-yard burst, and the Dolphins on top.
Well, that's running into the heart of their offensive line. That's playing some pretty good football. Rex Hadnot's in the middle. You got Geno James at the left guard position, who I think is a very, very powerful blocker, and it was right over where he ran it.
The drive began back at the 17-yard line, Miami's 2nd drive of the day, and they work methodically, converting 3 different 3rd downs.
You see, it'll get a little testy there between the Dolphins and the Patriots, because world champions don't like it when you take a football and shove it down their throat. And that's pretty much what Miami did. They methodically ran it down the field.
Mamari extra point makes it 7-0 Miami with 3:59 to play in the 1st. There was a big completion to Booker at the 2 for 16 yards. Capped by Ricky Williams, pounding it from 2 with 3:59 in the 1st.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony. Transform the way you watch football with Sony, the world's greatest high-definition television. And by the Acura RL with super handling all-wheel drive.
You're going to a cave full of bears, you try to pick out the 2 biggest, baddest bears, and that's what they did. They went after Vrabel and Seymour, ran right at him, and scored.
Murray's ensuing kickoff after the 2-yard touchdown by Ricky Williams at the 11-yard line. Andre Davis. And finds a seam, being chased by Jackson, gets by him. Being chased by Alindamani, gets by him. But then Sammy Morris pushes him out of bounds. A terrific kickoff return. He took it from the 11. He races 65 yards. And he is down to the 24-yard line of the Miami Dolphins, who have good coverage teams.
But the little dink forward goes straight ahead, and then bang, The coverage by then is committed straight ahead, and he starts going sideways, and with his speed, Davis is able to get that corner and get around and get that return. That's not bad coverage. That's just excellent return.
It must have been, because the coverage of the Dolphins is top 10 in every regard. 1st and 10 for New England. From the 24-yard line, Brady remains the quarterback. 3rd receiver is Troy Brown, and again, the Miami Dolphins have 5 in the secondary. It's Kevin Falk, and he tries to move inside. Lance Shoulders was there with Spragan with the tackle at the 19 and a gain of 5.
You know, one thing Nick Saban wants to do here in this final game is make a point to his football team and to have his team make a point to New England that we're here for a while, that we're coming into your place. It's cold. We're going to be physical. We're going to come into your house and be able to deal with you.
2nd down and 5. This is Kevin Falk ramming his way into Matt Roth on that defensive line. He's a rookie out of Iowa. The game is to the 16. It's a pickup of 3. Yeah, winning in the division is important for Nick Saban.
And if you got to win in the division and you're in the AFC East, gee, who do you want to beat most? It's the world champions. And last year, they're actually beginning this season, it looked like the Jets were going to be the next in line in the East. Miami's got a chance to be that team starting next year.
Patrick Pass running it. Donnie Spragan with the tackle on that 3rd and 2. It's a gain of 1, and he'll be right at the 15-yard line.
I would think they go for it here.
Sure.
4th and real short. That means Christian Fourier. That means Mike Vrabel. That means the whole power package. Heath Evans.
Channing Crowder will come in. They'll take out Reggie Howard. So a linebacker coming in for a defensive back. The back nose of the football is at the 15. So officially at the 15. 4th and 1. And they've got Heath Evans in the backfield.
And Ashworth at fullback.
And the offensive lineman Ashworth, number 68, leading the way. And the former Dolphin, Heath Evans, ramming his way in. If the mark by the side judge is any indication, he's got the first at the 13-yard line. Evans played 5 games for Miami to begin this season, then was let go.
And then came back in that earlier game this year. Evans had 80-something yards rushing against his former team. Gets a good lead block, but this is nice physical defense. And I tell you, Kevin Carter right there, the defensive end, 93, is a guy. You talk about trailers made a big difference. And Jason Taylor, as always, and Zach Thomas. Kevin Carter has really lent a real veteran presence and a physical veteran presence, along with Keith Traylor up there up front.
We're going to bring the chains out and take a look. You take a look at Carter. The defensive linemen, almost 2 linemen say the rotation, what you're kind of talking about, has been so good for these old bodies, but it's kept them fresh and they feel good.
You know, it's almost like looking in a mirror for Bill Belichick. Personnel-wise, it's almost like looking at the Patriots defense. When you look at the Miami Dolphins defense, you know, 93 is a defensive end. Well, it's Carter or Seymour. Traylor, they've always had a big physical nose tackle presence in New England. Well, they've got one now in Miami. I mean, there's a pattern to what they're building down south in Florida.
Scanina is in for Traylor. Heath Evans again on 1st and 10, following a block by Mankins, brought down by Howard, among others. It's a gain of 3. Down to the 11-yard line of Miami. A 65-yard kickoff return by Andre Davis gave New England this great position.
Yeah, you talk about sharpening up your game, and we've seen some stumbles on defense and some stumbles on offense for New England, but how quickly does that one return really change everything around? And they've come into this possession after that Davis return and run 5 straight runs.
2nd down, 7. Falk is back in. 3rd receiver is Troy Brown, and Brady fires, and it's caught, but was he in? It was grabbed by Branch in the back of the end zone, and he's got a touchdown, beating 32-year-old Sam Madison.
Deion Branch, take a bow. You already took one, take another bow. That was a beautiful catch. I'm not sure if he was in, but that was a beautiful catch. Check out the feet. Up ahead, 1 knee. Yeah, that was pretty quick. I think that part of the leg, and part of the leg being the operative word, got down there after the first step. And that would be 2 feet. I don't think I'd waste a replay if I was Nick Saban.
I don't know if he got the other foot.
First foot, it's not the foot, it's the part of the leg.
Right.
Hits the ground, I think, before he actually goes out of bounds.
Too late now. There's the extra point by Vinatieri, and that ties it. So Brady throws an 11-yard touchdown pass. And Deion Branch with the career-high year in receptions gets his 5th touchdown reception of the season.
Remember, okay, 1 foot. Here's your foot, part of the leg. I believe so. I believe so, part of the knee.
Brady has thrown for more yards than any other quarterback in the NFL this season, just tossing his 26th touchdown of the year. But it was set up on a 65-yard kickoff return by Andre Davis. The ensuing kickoff by Adam Vinatieri. This is Welker at the 11-yard line for Miami. And tackled by Michael Stone at the 32-yard line, a 23-yard return. Stone with the grab. Monday in an all-new late show, Dave rings in the new year with Heather Graham, and later this week he'll wrap up the year's best sports bloopers. Dave's all-new all this week on CBS with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan.
It was a nice little series. If you're looking for an execution positive to end the day, possibly for Brady. I don't know when it's going to happen, but that last pass might have been the one you're looking for.
Second possession resulted in a touchdown. This is the 3rd possession for Miami. It's 1st and 10 for Ferrant, chased by Seymour and hits the deck hard. Wisely so at the 37-yard line, scrambling for 4.
You look at this pass, and the pass is going to be thrown in the back of the end zone. Now, as you roll this thing forward, concentrate on the receiver down at the bottom of the screen, Branch. Now, stop it right here. Now, is he look open right there? He's not open. Well, he is if you're Tom Brady and you're Deion Branch, and you know you can squeeze that thing in there. That was a great play.
2nd down and 6, 2 tight ends in. And it is Williams tackled by Roosevelt Colvin. It looks like Ricky has carved out a 1st down, diving to the 43 and picking up 7 yards on the play. So Miami has gotten a 2-yard Ricky Williams touchdown run. Tom Brady has thrown a touchdown pass at the end of 1. We're tied at 7 on America's #1 network.
It's all just a little bit.
3 Super Bowls in 4 years. It is a dynasty here for the New England Patriots.
Right up there with the old dynasty they awarded the Niners back in the 80s. It's that good. And it's because of Bill Belichick. It's because of Robert Kraft, Scott Pioli. And they have an uncanny ability to prepare for who's next. Players, coaches, whoever.
1st and 10 handoff on our first play of the 2nd quarter to Ricky Williams, who is up to the 47. Picks up about 2-3 yards on the play. Vrabel at the bottom of the pile along with Wilfork.
You think back to what Robert Kraft has done here with the New England Patriots. He started as a fan, sitting up in the stands in the old stadium, in the old Schaefer Stadium version.
Had season tickets, you're right.
You know, he had Parcells here, he had Pete Carroll here, and I think when he got this combination of Belichick and Pioli, he really felt comfortable giving this whole thing to him, and they've really taken it and run with it.
2 tight ends, 2nd down, long 7, 47 Ferrant. Flag down. That's McMichael, shoved out of bounds by the rookie Sanders near the 47-yard line of New England, 6-yard gain.
That's going to be an offsides. There's a Willie McGinnis up at the top of the screen. Got a little early start.
Tom likes talking to the other players on the field.
Vernon Carey looked at him like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
How many yards? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Offside, number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Now for NFL.com poll, who would you pick as this year's NFL MVP? Cast your vote at NFL.com.
I think it's pretty clear Sean Alexander's had an amazing year, but I tell you, the way Tiki Barber's closing, that 203 yards last night, the 95-yard touchdown run, and he's leading Alexander as we speak in rushing.
Defensive starters out there for New England on the 2nd and long 2. That's Booker, and the coverage by Ellis Hobbs, who knocks it away incomplete. It's been Hobbs' emergence in the secondary, which has been battered by injuries, which has been important for this late season New England surge.
Well, it really has. You've seen so many different starters at safety and corner, and this young player out of Iowa State has really emerged, and especially technique-wise. You see that technique. The hand comes up, it strips the ball, I mean, that's something you learn from veterans. That's something you're coached. That's something you're drilled in. And the drills and the coaching have really paid off for the New England defense in the last month and a half.
Bam Childress, a fifth defensive back, third and along 2. They got Chad Brown as a linebacker, and here's a throw which is underthrown to Booker on the near side. Childress, that extra defensive back, was covering, and they got to punt the ball.
And, you know, Gus Frerotte hurt, you know, an index finger bone in his hand and a middle finger bone in his hand, and he's got his hand all taped up. It's got kind of a boxer's wrap on that thing, and I think the natural assumption is, hey, it affects him. He says it doesn't affect my grip at all. It's a boxer wrap, so it's only in the back of my hand. You see the stripes in the back there. He's got a strong arm. He really, really does. I don't think it affects his throwing at all. If he has a problem, it's really with his accuracy, not with his arm strength.
Donnie Jones, who was with Seattle and has been punting all season long, very well for Miami, gets this away. Fair caught, 11-yard line, Tim Dwight. There's not a lot of breeze inside Gillette Stadium today on that 36-yard route.
Unless you don't have enough clothes on. Then there's plenty of breeze in here. 21 wind chill. There's no breeze.
We're going to see Brady with 13:44 to play in the half. Matt Castle, the 7th-round rookie out of USC, is the new quarterback. And on 1st and 10, with a quick handoff and a gain of 3, and the tackle is made on Patrick Pass by the middle of that line. The play of Castle has been kind of interesting this year.
That's
very limited.
That's his career at USC. His line was, when I talked to him this preseason, was, you know, I was the second best quarterback in the country for about 3 years. Backed up Carson Palmer, backed up Matt Leinart.
2 tight ends, and the Dolphins have gone to a 4-3-4 defense. No more 5 defensive backs. Hand off the pass brought down by Zach Thomas, who comes streaming through. A loss of 2 back to the 12.
And then you talk about him backing those guys up, and there's their number of touchdown passes they threw while out at USC. Matt Castle's last touchdown pass was at Chatsworth High School when he was a senior in high school. But, you know, this is a good illustration of Pioli and Belichick and this organization preparing for next. That's why Matt Castle's playing in Week 17 and going to get a good chunk of time to play. Is they have to find out if something was ever to happen to Tom Brady, do they have somebody behind him in a way of a young guy that could take over?
5 in the secondary. He bobbles the Holstein shotgun snap, and he's brought down by Carter at about the 11-yard line. That is a sack and a new Dolphin record. The number 1 sack team in the NFL brings down Castle, and the New England Patriots have got a punt. Kevin Carter did it. Kevin Carter with his 7th sack of the year.
Pass offenses are so predicated on timing, and when you can't handle a low snap, and it was a low snap, but part of being a pro quarterback in this league is handling the adverse parts, the low snaps and the things that are off, and not losing that timing.
Miller will punt it with a good rush put on by Jason Glenn. Wes Welker back at the 39-yard line for the Miami Dolphins. Gets by Matt Chatham, brought down by Sanders. Good tackle about the 47-yard line. That is a 49-yard punt, a 7-yard return.
And a nice physical tackle by Sanders out of Fresno State.
11:54 in the half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. Prudential Financial. Choose Prudential Financial to help you grow and protect your wealth. And by the Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
The Patriots just punted for the second time in their last 3 possessions. Miami's got it 1st and 10, 47-yard line. Ricky Williams has a touchdown run. There's a fake by Frerotte on 1st and 10. That's a reception made by Booker in front of the rookie Hobbs. The gain to the 32-yard line, a 19-yard completion. The officials score here inside Gillette Stadium during our commercial break has taken the sack away. They said it was no game. They ruled sack initially, wiped it away during our commercial break. So consequently, we're still stuck with the Dolphins, 1 shy of tying the record.
Well, they not only lose a record, then they get a holding penalty.
Right.
Now the offense backs up 10 more yards. They lost 14 yards in that kind of exchange of punts and the balls. And
Warren remains on the line, but they've also got Marquise Hill and Tully Banza-Kane as a new linebacker on 1st and 20. Ricky Williams knocked out of Browns by Chad Brown. The gain is to the 47. It is a 7, make it 43. There is a 7-yard gain on the play. Flag is down across the way.
Yeah, it's going to be a face mask, Kevin. Poteet gets out there on the outside at the corner, and Ricky Williams goes get him a straight arm, and he gives him a face mask in return.
5-yard penalty, number 32. Defense, penalty we enforced from the end of the run. It will remain first down.
You know, when you're expecting all the power and you're getting the speed and a straight arm, you got to grab what you can grab sometimes, I guess, if you're a defensive back, and a little too much face mask. But I love the style that Ricky Williams has really come back into this league with. And, you know, his teammates were fairly effusive, Kevin, in talking about his work ethic and what it's been like to have him back on this team and how happy they are to have him back.
1st and 8 from the 49. There's a block by Vernon Carey, and from the other side they come in with the sack. Right there is Banza-Kane. Tully Banza-Kane with his 3rd career sack. He's 3 years out of Cal. It's a loss of 9, and it's back to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Tully Banza-Kane lining up with that number 95 and just bringing it on the blitz, coming from the top of the bottom of the screen there. 95 tried to get a block on him, and it was a brief block, but a lot of that was coverage down the field.
Relker is the 3rd receiver on a 2nd down and 12 handoff. And there's not a whole lot there as the tackles made by Chatham and Wright on Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown in the game. Gain of 2. Tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, the top young guns of the USA shoot it out with the team of international up-and-comers at the Tommy Bahama Challenge. Golf tomorrow here on CBS.
I don't know, but that looks kind of nice there.
It does. 3rd down and 10. So a new defensive line for the New England Patriots, aside from Warren. Starters are still in there. Brown is at the side offensively for Miami, and there goes another flag.
Yeah. False start on the Dolphins.
False start. 63 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Alonzo Ephraim.
Alonzo might be a victim of that new hair thing they're thinking about putting in here in the NFL about limiting the length of hair.
Welker remains the 3rd wide receiver. Brown in the backfield with McMichael. There at the side of Farrat. 3rd and 15. And here comes the rush by Brown. The throw by Farrat caught 40-yard line. The tackle by Hobbs. The grab made by Marty Booker. He's got the first down. A pickup of 18 yards on 3rd and 15.
You look at this Dolphin team and you enjoy the success they've had this season, and you want to say, gee, if they can finish with a 9-7, what a way to build. And you have to consider, you know, you've got these kind of weapons on the outside like Booker and Chambers. You've got quarterbacks that can throw pretty good. You're going to need to address your quarterback position as far as a young successor. You're going to need some offensive linemen up front. And this offense will do nothing but get better.
Ricky Williams back in, providing a block on that 1st and 10 pass downfield for McMichael, and the coverage by Sanders.
You know, it's always kind of it's a positive, but it's not a positive when you get a win streak like this and you're not going to the playoffs. But these are the longest win streaks by teams that didn't make the playoffs at the end of a season. And if the Dolphins can finish off with a win here, they'd finish 2nd. And we all remember that 59 Bear team.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Oh, yeah. You know, they were trying to live up to that 59 White Sox team that almost won the World Series.
That's right. Luis Aparicio. 2nd down and 10. 40-yard line. Ronnie Brown is back in. Welker the 3rd. There's a muffed handoff, but Brown reels it in. Then is brought down on the play by Monty Beisel, taking the place of Brewski today. Gain of 4, down to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, we were out there on the field, my son Brendan and I, before the game, and Ronnie Brown was getting worked out pretty aggressively by the coaches. They made him take pitches and passes and everything else. And, you know, Ronnie Brown's had a high ankle sprain, and they're being very careful with him. And it tells you something about how healthy they think this young guy is, that he's in the game and able to play in a game like this. They want to get him this kind of experience in New England against the world champs.
Childress is in as a 6th defensive back. Larry Izzo has come in along along with Don Davis in the linebacking core. Klecko's on the New England defensive line. 3rd and 5 for Rock. Great catch made by Welker. Childress with the tackle. He's a rookie out of Ohio State, is Childress. Welker comes up with the grab, 24-yard line, gain of 11 on 3rd and 5.
You know, part of being a good young back in this league is the ability to block. You've got to be able to pass block and know who you're supposed to get. And what a perfect job there by Ronnie Brown, stepping up, getting the linebacker Beisel, and allowing his quarterback the time to throw that pass.
Williams and Barnes in the backfield, and this is Ricky Williams chugging down the middle, down to about the 16-yard line. Brought down by Marquise Hill on the defensive line, a gain of 8 on the play.
I guess there's a lot of thoughts, especially down in the home market in Miami, about, well, gee, now that Ricky's established more value, I guess you trade him and you try to get picks and stuff. I don't know. You know, the way he's running and with this good young back like Ronnie Brown, I don't see the downside if you're Nick Saban and the Dolphins of having 2 talented running backs like these guys working for you full time.
Diamond is the second tight end. 2nd down and 3. Ricky Williams cutting outside, then brought down. Matt Chatham along with Eugene Wilson. The grab was at the 16. It is a gain of a yard. This is Miami's 4th possession today.
Eugene Wilson, another one of those very versatile defensive backs that are so good at tackling running backs, especially out of the backfield. You know, guys like Williams and Ronnie Brown, and they can really fill fast and make those tackles. And
this drive for Miami began at their 47. Big play has been an 18-yard pass to Booker. 10th play coming up, 3rd and 2. Williams and Barnes in the offset eye. Ricky Williams down the middle and charges into the end zone. And a flag is down at the 19. It's against Miami. Wipe it away.
A hold against Miami. That looked like a absolutely perfectly executed play.
And that is the 3rd Miami penalty, Randy, on this drive.
The hold here is against Geno James, the left guard. Geno James comes in there and he gets called for this penalty. He's right there, and this run's going to go right off him, right straight up the middle. He's coming around on a little if block, and see that neck roll he put on? He just put a little right arm around the neck and into the midsection of the linebacker coming in there underneath, and that was the call he was hold for. The hold he was called for.
Ronnie Brown is in, 3rd and 12. They have Farrant dropping back. 6 in the secondary, no one home, and so he slides into the 17-yard line and picks up 8. And so the New England 2nd and 3rd team defense holds Miami's 1st team offense to a 3-point try.
That looked funny where they're spotting the ball. Remember, when a quarterback gives himself up and slides, it's where the ball is when he starts to slide, not where he actually lands and kind of, you know, scoots out to. So it always looks different because it's about 2 yards back behind where he finally comes to rest.
Here's a 36-yard field goal try by Olindo Mane. And this is for the lead. And he nails it. And Miami is on top 10-7. 5:51 to play in the first half. A holding penalty on Geno James wipes out a Ricky Williams touchdown.
There's Geno James and Monty Beisel. Watch that holding penalty one more time. Not much of one, but the official's sitting right back here looking in there. He sees that necktie. It's a beautiful, almost flawless executed run right up the middle against a pretty good defense, but called back on that holding penalty.
After kicking a 36-yard field goal, the ensuing kickoff by Mare, taken by Andre Davis, who's brought down by Sammy Morris, at about the 27-yard line, a 19-yard return. So the Dolphins lead on a 2-yard touchdown run by Ricky Williams. The field goal puts him on top. We'll get our second look at Matt Castle. He's trailing by 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And by AOL. Want a better internet? You belong at AOL.
The Sprint halftime report being put together for you in New York with Greg Gumbel and company. Scores, highlights, and playoff news. That's the Sprint halftime report. So a field goal moments ago by Miami as the hot pads are coming out on that sideline. Yeah, you're in Miami. First down and 10. Matt Castle throws down the side looking for Davis. Boy, almost had it. Covered by both Schulters and Travis Daniels. It's incomplete to Andre Davis. They made a trade for this guy in preseason with the Cleveland Browns.
Is there anything prettier really than a long pass and a receiver going to the fingertips like that? I mean, it reminds you of that old Super Bowl catch by Lynn Swann against the Cowboys down in Miami. It's the most ballet-like move in football when that receiver really lays out for a pass.
There are 5 defensive backs. First-string defensive line is in there. Second down and 10. And this is Heath Evans, who crawls his way. Looked like he tripped and landed eventually at the 30-yard line. And some shoving after the play. Zach Thomas is upset with the rookie Logan Mankins. It was a gain of 3. They mark him at the 30-yard line.
Well, if he's upset with Logan Mankins, he better get used to Logan Mankins, because Mankins is going to be around for a while. The rookie out of Fresno State, the last pick of the draft in the first round is going against Zach there at the end of the play. He just sort of throws him down, and multiple Pro Bowlers don't like that when rookies do that to them. 6
defensive backs, third down and 7. Bam Childress is the third wide receiver for Matt Castle, who gets a nice block from Gorn, throws short, and it's dropped by Patrick Pass. Covered on the play by Zach Thomas. A quick 3-and-out for the Patriots, who have to punt for a second consecutive time and a third time in their last 4 possessions.
That was a nice job down the field by the Miami Dolphins. It really limited New England and Castle just to a quick little dump off into the flat that wasn't made.
Miller will punt. He's had a good season, averaging 45 yards per boot. And they're setting up a return with a little rush on the play and deep back. Wes Welker at the 26-yard line for the Miami Dolphins, and brought down by Larry Izzo, the ex-Dolphin, a longtime special teams performer at a Pro Bowl level. 10-yard return, 44-yard punt. Tuesday, January 17th, Tom Cavanaugh stars as a 30-something record executive in a new series that takes an amazing and amusing look at work, dating, and life. Don't miss Love Monkey, coming to America's #1 network, CBS, Tuesday, January 17th.
Well, that's very valuable things right there, those hand warmers. What's your job? I'm the shake guy. What do you mean? Are you an equipment guy? No, I shake the pads and make them hot, and then I hand it out to the players.
Williams in the backfield, 36-yard line, 1st and 10, Ricky Williams. Brought down by Matt Chatham. Again, second and third team defensive players out there for the New England Patriots on the line, except for Ty Warren, and certainly in the linebacking core. There was a gain of 4 to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it mentions, you talk about backups and starters, and Miami's trying to make a point here coming to New England in bad weather and cold weather, and this is their first cold weather game. They went to Cleveland a while back, and they went to Cleveland expecting it to be cold. I think it was 53 that day.
Barnes comes in for the second time and diamond. It's second down and 6. Ricky Williams takes it out to the 46-yard line. Hit by Chad Brown, close to a first down, and a gain on the play of about 5 to 6 yards.
There's that same play. Remember the last one was a holding penalty on Geno James, and they liked it so much they go back to it again, that time without the 10-yard penalty for holding, and It's just good execution. And I love what Miami's doing right here. They're not coming out of their own box. They're doing what they do well, and that's execute offensively. It's not flashy, but it moves the ball and it puts points on the board.
It is a first down, 46-yard line. Barnes is the fullback ahead of Williams. Farad threads that ball inside, loose and dropped incomplete to Randy McMichael. Coverage by Poteet and Monty Beisel. Incomplete.
Everybody remembers Ricky Williams for that trade when he first came out, where Mike Ditka down in New Orleans basically traded his entire draft for him, and sort of forget about the fact of how he got to Miami from New Orleans. You know, it was a first and a conditional third that ended up being another first-round draft pick, and it was Ricky for Charles Grant and Pace.
2 tight ends. 4 in the secondary. Second down and 10. Marty Booker gets by Stone, shakes that tackle, then is ushered out of bounds by Hobbs. The gain to the 39. 15-yard pickup, first down.
Randy Mueller now working on the personnel side, GM-wise, with the Miami Dolphins, and I tell you, it's one thing that Nick Saban insisted on when he got here with Wayne Huizenga, and I think it's a great sign for Dolphin fans. They're spending money in the non-cap spaces, in the front offices for guys like Mueller and personnel. On the coaching staff, they have a huge coaching staff.
24 coaches,
and they address the facility.
Number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
McIntosh.
Yeah, against McIntosh, they updated their locker room, they updated their offices. I mean, that's a commitment to what a guy wants to achieve, and that's something that if you're a guy like Nick Saban and you're a football player and a member of this coaching staff, you've got to be excited because you've got an owner that wants to spend money and wants to win. It's something New England's had for years, and Miami now has really learned to appreciate it.
44-yard line, 1st and 15, the burst by Ricky Williams, coming off a 172-yard game last week against Tennessee, brought down by Ty Warren. It's a gain of 9, marking at the 35. This January, get ready for a whole new generation. Jenna Elfman stars in Courting Alex, coming January 23rd to CBS, America's #1 network. So 2nd down and 6.
Interesting dynamic between Ricky and Nick Saban. Not exactly a match you would make right off the bat, is it?
No, it isn't. Ronnie Brown is in. Ronnie Brown gets the call, diving head over heels to the 32-yard line and brought down on the play by Beisel. It's a gain of 3. What's your take on the Ricky Williams relationship
with Saban?
With Saban.
Nick Saban appreciates guys that are dedicated to the game, love to play the game and show it, and work hard at it. He's got no qualms about what Ricky Williams has done during the time that Nick Saban's been there.
2-minute warning. Miami on top on a 36-yard field goal and a 2-yard Williams touchdown run. The new year with America's #1 network, and see why over 140 million viewers turn to CBS for television's #1 comedy, reality show, news magazine, and the #1 show on TV. Plus, more people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network. Happy New Year from CBS and CBS Sports. 3rd and 3, 2-minute warning, and it's handoff to Ricky Williams. On the 3rd and 3, and he charges down the middle. He's to about the 27-yard line. Tully Banta-Kane, along with Matt Chatham, bring him down. Gain of 5, 1st down. Another one for Miami. They've had a ton in this first half, and limping off the field is Ricky Williams.
And coming on, Ronnie Brown. Came into that bottom of that field. Remember, we're inside the 2 minutes. The clock is running. The timeout's left. Good strategy here. Just eat up as much time as possible.
1st and 10. There's a block by Barnes. There's a drop by Booker, who's covered by Hobbs. As we take you to New York in our studios, and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, in Kansas City, Larry Johnson just lit up the crowd. 49 yards and a touchdown. His 9th straight game for 100 or more yards rushing. Kansas City leads 13-3 as their playoff hopes remain alive. Back to you.
That is the #2 offense, Greg, and the #3 leading rusher in the NFL, Larry Johnson, 3 years out of Penn State. Thank you. 2nd down and 10.
Looks gorgeous there in your hometown.
About 55 degrees. Here's Farrat. That is caught on both knees, 19-yard line. Marty Booker grabbed by Hobbs and brought down by Izzo. And a gain on the play of 9. Timeout taken. Timeout taken by the Miami Dolphins. They had 3. They burned their first. A look at Ricky. Coming up the Sprint Halftime Report, you'll hear more from Greg Gumbel and company for scores, highlights, and playoff news. By the way, Detroit and Pittsburgh are tied at 14 late 2nd half. That's all coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Remember, it set up yesterday. Denver beat San Diego. So that part of the formula was gone, and now it means Kansas City's got to beat Cincinnati, and then Detroit's got to beat Pittsburgh for the Chiefs to go to the playoffs. And I tell you, if Detroit goes into Pittsburgh and beats the Steelers, that will qualify as one of the worst last week collapses in the last 10, 20 years.
Pittsburgh, I guess, just scored. We just got that in. Now it's 2014 with the extra point and waiting. So a timeout just taken by Miami. They started this drive at their 36. They're down to the 19 of New England. They lead on a Williams touchdown run and a field goal, 36 yards. 3rd and 1. Ronnie Brown brought down by Michael Stone. I don't think he got the first down. In fact, they throw him for a 1-yard loss to the 20-yard line.
What a beautiful play by Stone. Now, if you see where he comes from, it's actually through the outside here. He goes into the backfield and, dare I say, stones him. Ronnie Brown. Not to take you back to the 60s, but I guess it was back then they said everybody must get what?
Well, Michael Stone, originally a second-round pick by Arizona, let go, went to the St. Louis camp, let go. Former college walk-on was Stone at Memphis. So here's Olindo Mare. And New England has just burned their first time out as you take a look at Bill Belichick, who started Tom Brady today. And Brady began with a quick interception on his first series, then threw a nice touchdown pass to Deion Branch to tie the game at 7 apiece. He went long early.
You know, came out kind of halting with some mistakes throwing-wise. And, you know, today was the first time I've seen Brady where he didn't come out like at 10:30, quarter to 11, and wasn't out throwing for about 45 minutes or so early. He didn't really come out until warm-up time and through his regular routine through warm-ups. And Bill Belichick's idea at some point today was to see where Matt Castle was at. And right now, the first couple possessions, Matt Castle in the offense hasn't been really at anywhere so far, but wanted to get this young guy some experience, some playing time. Doug Flutie's sitting there between Brady and Castle, and the New England legend will see some playing time in the fourth quarter.
38-yard try is in, and Olindo Mare is 2 of 2 today, 23 of 28 for the season, and he extends the Miami Dolphin lead over New England, 13-7. Miami has the longest current AFC winning streak going right now at 5 straight games. Next Sunday, the playoff push blasts off with the AFC wildcard game. And the action begins with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer on a special playoff edition of the NFL Today. Teams and times to be determined. Let's take one more glimpse here in the first half before we take you to New York of the AFC playoff picture.
Remember that formula with Kansas City needing Pittsburgh to lose and needing to beat Cincinnati. And then that brings into the formula of the old 3 seed and 4 seed also. If Cincinnati loses and New England wins, they flip places there into the 3 and the 4 slots. So that's a tough road there for Kansas City, though. It's not so much beating the Cincinnati part, but expecting the Detroit Lions, who have been an absolute mess the entire season, to go into a place like Heinz Field and win is asking an awful lot. But to have them 21-14 is the only deficit they're down going into halftime or near halftime, that's pretty much doing your job if you're the Detroit Lions.
So Ricky Williams had 4 carries and 23 yards on that drive. There was also a 15-yard pass to Marty Booker, culminating in a 38-yard field goal by Mari, who kicks off right here. And Andre Davis back at the 7-yard line. He has a 65-yard kickoff return in his pocket. Lester Towns brings him down at about the 31-yard line. 24-yard return, and Matt Castle has started this game 0 of 2, and he takes the field with 33 seconds to play in the first half.
And 2 timeouts, and this is a situation with a young quarterback. You know, really, they may just sit on it, but I don't see any reason why you don't just let him throw it. Let's see if he can move down the field, if he can set Adam Vinatieri in about 40 yards here up in field goal position.
There are 5 defensive backs. Reggie Howard is the 5th for the Miami Dolphins. 1st and 10. Castle goes underneath. Caught by Bam Childress out of Ohio State, who is signed to the active squad this week. He's out to the 37, picks up 7 yards on the play, and Zach Thomas brings him down. Timeout taken. 1 timeout for New England, remaining 24 seconds in the first half.
Kevin, 2 years ago in December, there was a game here between the Dolphins and the Patriots. Remember that? And the conditions here and what it was like. We talk about now it's 28 with a 21 wind chill.
It was December 7th.
That was tropical.
Yes. Patriot fans weathered a major snowstorm before watching their New England Patriots shut out Miami. Teddy Bruschi scored a 4th quarter interception return as a touchdown. The Patriots clinching the AFC East with a 12-0 win. We had about 1 inch, 2 inches of snow here in the Boston Providence area.
A dusting compared to
Dusting, yeah. We were here for that game,
But,
as you said, and wow, that was something.
That reinforced to me what unbelievable fans they have here in New England. You got to dig out your seat. You got to really want to watch football.
2nd down and 3, batted down and almost picked off by Vonnie Holiday on that defensive line. Well, they went with veterans on that defensive line, and they have not been disappointed. Miami hasn't.
But you remember, too, for New England here, giving Matt Castle this playing time to kind of see where he's at. This is a team that had Rohan Davey in the third team quarterback for, 2 or 3 years. Stuck with him for a while to see where he was at and where he was growing to. And they're going to have that kind of project on their hands with Castle.
37, 3rd and 3. Castle out of the pocket, on the fly throws. And a catch made by Tim Dwight right in front of Travis Daniels. What a catch. It is near the 46, 45-yard line, a 16-yard strike. Clock at 14 seconds. New England with the timeout.
Well, it shows you Castle can move, and it also shows you this former pitcher on the USC baseball team has got a pretty doggone good arm. There's a reason he was drafted in the major leagues for baseball.
So at the 45-yard line and 14 seconds left and 5 in the secondary for Miami and their starters out there. 1st and 10 for New England.
15 yards to Vinatieri zone.
Castle incomplete, looking for Childress, covered by Travaris Tillman, and the flag is thrown.
Yeah, they're going to get Travaris Tillman for hanging on with that left hand, reaching around with the right to go for the pass, but grabbing him with the left. And that would put Adam Vinatieri in his zone, if you will.
Pass interference. Number 26, defense. The foul is for hooking and turning the receiver. 1st down.
Miami has set a team record for penalties this year.
So 9 seconds, 1 timeout left, and the possible field goal set up by Tillman there. That left hand around the waist as he reached around is what they're calling for the penalty. So you got a timeout, and you probably need another, let's say, 5 yards. So you can run a little quick out, and if he doesn't get out of bounds, be ready for a timeout.
Starting offensive line is in. Patrick Pass on 1st and 10 meets Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor at about the 31-yard line, gain of a yard.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with this Bam Childress, who's been playing wide receiver, he's been running down special teams and kicks, and he's been playing defensive back. Yeah. He was with his team in the preseason, and actually he and Castle hooked up quite frequently in the preseason together. And he's one of those guys, you know, Scott Pioli and this personnel department find people that they identify as their kind of football players, and after they release them, they either, you know, go out into the world, but they keep track of them. They have them on the practice squad. They have them on and off the squad in some cases. And this is a very talented young man with good speed that they were able to call on here late in the year and bring back. And what a great opportunity for him.
So Miami holds them, and Castle gets his team in field goal range. Here is a 49-yard try by Vinatieri, his long this year, 48. And I think he's got the distance. He got it.
This guy's unbelievable.
How about that? That is a season-long 49-yard field goal. 13-10 Miami.
CBS Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Sprint, together with Nextel. Yes, you can.
On a day when the New England Patriots are celebrating their 1985 Super Bowl team, their current edition is trailing at halftime. Ricky Williams from a couple yards away put Miami on top. Tom Brady responds with a touchdown pass to Branch. 2 Mare field goals. It's 13-10, the Dolphins on CBS.
Happy New Year to my pops back in Dallas, Texas.
And Happy New Year to you as well. 13-10, the Miami Dolphins on top of the champion New England Patriots, a game you're watching today in high definition. Kevin Harlan, Randy Cross, first half thoughts.
Well, you know, what really has stood out to me has been the running game of the Miami Dolphins, running for 99 yards against this Patriots defense. And I don't care if they haven't had some of their starters in there at times. Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown, that offensive line has been very impressive. And the Dolphins offense has had no turnovers. And that, you know, they've come in here, and so far for a half, Nick Saban has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, and that's come in and establish what they can do in the key opponent in the AFC East house, in the New England Patriots.
And so we kick it off with Welker inside the 5-yard line, getting a block from Lorenzo Diamond, and then brought down by Don Davis at the 23-yard line. Larry Izzo there as well. 21-yard return as we take a look, Randy, at our fantasy notebook.
Well, this is the last week in the year that you really want to be playing fantasy football, because you never know who's going to be in there. I don't know how many people had Matt Castle getting in, relying on him for points and stats. Ricky Williams was 71 yards and that one touchdown, and getting some good blocking from that offensive line. And so far, a quiet day for Chris Chambers at the wide receiver position.
Chambers in motion, Ricky Williams in the backfield, and the call on 1st and 10. And brought down by Matt Chatham. Mostly second and third string defensive guys in there for New England. That's a gain of 5. He's up to the 28, and the starters are still in there for the Miami Dolphins.
We got Ellis Hobbs is still in there, the young
secondary,
the young
is
corner,
basically
the young corner. And that's one of the misconceptions, too. I mean, you've got guys like Vrabel at linebacker out. Teddy Bruschi was inactive today, and Willie McGinnis out of the game. You don't think there's 3 or 4 strings of people to play. Not everybody has a backup. Not everybody is able to come out in these situations.
It's only about 3 deep. Ty Warren, the only starter on the defensive line. 2nd and 5, and a sack is made by Matt Chatham. That's the first by the New England Patriots today. And Chatham, who was undrafted out of South Dakota and a special teams demon, comes up with a nice sack. It's a loss of 5. Back to the 23.
Yeah, it's hitting it on the run. The defensive line made the initial rush, and then Chatham and company coming from the linebacker position makes the secondary rush, getting himself a sack. So the line ate up the blocks, and the linebacker gets the sack.
Bam Childers is the 5th defensive back for New England. It's 3rd and 10. They need the 33. Brian Gilmore is the 3rd receiver for Gus Frerotte, and that's tipped by Tully Fanta Kane. Flag is down at the 34.
Got a little defensive holding, I believe, is going to be against the Patriots in the defensive backfield.
And you're right there, mainly starters still in the secondary, but they're down to the second string guys anyway in the secondary to start games.
Number 53, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Izzo.
Yes, Izzo was working on Chris Chambers, as they used to say, giving him the business. Here's Izzo right here. Here's Chambers coming off of Bam Childress 13. Watch Izzo get him with that left hand and kind of crank in there and grab his jersey, and that was the holding call.
First and 10. Frerotte. Catch made by Chambers. The tackle made by Hobbs. The gain to the 48-yard line. A 20-yard pickup in a Miami first down.
Yeah, Gus Frerott's getting that boxer's wrap on his hand, on his passing hand, and everything's starting to loosen up, and his accuracy is getting a lot better from that first half. In some of the instances, he was a bit off, and that was a very, very nice pass, just fitted right in between 3 defenders.
2 tight ends. They've got Barnes and Ricky Williams in the backfield. First and 10. Ricky again. And grinding his way to midfield, and brought down on the play by the rookie out of Cincinnati, Mike Wright, on the defensive line, a gain of 2. Well, last Monday night, Randy, as we watched on the finale of Monday night on ABC, linebacker Teddy Bruschi suffered a painful injury after teammate Mike Vrabel came up on his knee. Bruschi was unable to finish the game, but he is expected back for the playoffs.
Actually, it looked to be kicked in the calf, and it's been referred to as a calf strain. And I mentioned on the NFL Today earlier today when I was on with Dan Dierdorf and the rest of the guys in the studio that, he had that injury two years ago at the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh. He had a strained calf, and then 2 weeks later, he played in the Super Bowl against Carolina here on CBS down in Houston. So I'd fully expect him back next week for their first playoff game in the wild card weekend, be it Saturday or Sunday.
Second and 8 pass. It was a gain of 11. It's a first down to the 39-yard line as Miami continues their first possession here in the second half. Ricky Williams on the pitch. Barnes with the block and a tackle made from behind by Wright. No gain, Randy, 40-yard line.
You're talking about Wright and Stone and some of the backups, and here's one of the reasons so many of the backups are in, especially on defense. No Brewski, you got Dillon out, Graham out. Artrell Hawkins has been a great contributor at safety. Asante Samuel, a great contributor at cornerback. So, they've had a situation here in New England where they've had injuries over the course of this year, and no one's dealt with them better than this football team.
Ronnie Brown is in. Welker, the third receiver. Second down, 10 from the 40 for Ferrant. Good block by Carey. Ferrant slings it outside. Caught by McMichael. He's grabbed by Poteet, the ex-Steeler. The gain to the 32. It's a pickup of 7 yards.
How would you like to really be one of those, almost like a clairvoyant and be able to see into the future? But I don't think you really have to be a clairvoyant to know that this Miami Dolphins football team under Nick Saban is going to be solid for years to come, especially this offense. I mean, it's a given that he has good defenses, but this offense is going to be really special.
5 defensive backs. Davis is the linebacker. 3rd and 3. Welker in motion. Ronnie Brown at the side of Ferrant. And the throw is caught by Booker. He's got the first down. The gain to the 27-yard line. Hit by Childress. Grabbed by Davis. Gain of 5 on 3rd and 3. Again to the 27-yard line.
That's part of the problem, too, of dealing with this offense when you've got Ronnie Brown and you've got Ricky Williams. You're bringing guys like Welker in motion. You've got Chambers on the outside. And as Bill Belichick told us Friday, you better not forget about Booker either.
Right.
Because Booker just seems to get in there and at key critical moments makes possession catches. But don't forget, when you start getting down toward this red zone area, Booker can get up and get after a pass.
2 tight ends. They've got Gilmore as the second receiver. It's 1st and 10. Ferrant going to the end zone looking for Gilmore, and it's incomplete with Hobbs covering him in the back of the end zone. In fact, Gilmore had actually gone out of the end zone and was ineligible.
That was all effort by Gus Ferrant. He got kind of medium protection, and that medium protection broke down, and it was all up to him just trying to avoid being sacked, avoiding the Chatham grab around the legs. Chad Brown was down there too from the linebacker position.
It's a 2nd down and 10. Barnes is in the slot. He's the fullback and now remaneuvers. And Ricky Williams head on into the rookie Sanders at the 23-yard line. Gain of 4.
It tells you something about how much Ricky Williams really loves to play football right now. In fact, the quote from him earlier this year when he came back was, where else would you rather be than here playing football?
Yeah.
It's 21 degrees with the wind chill in New England. It's week 17. He goes out earlier in the game with kind of a twisted ankle. He's had some good rushing in the first half. He comes back and keeps blasting it at him in the second.
And he's making the minimum. He's out now. Brown has taken his place. Welker, the 3rd receiver. 6 in the secondary. 3rd and 6. Ferrant throws. And it is a pass with Welker in his sights and Sanders covering, and incomplete inside the 15.
Hey, you brought up the thing about Ricky making the minimum. I heard something from him this week that you have to take your hat off to Ricky and say that is something to really be admired, to hear a professional athlete say, if I have to play for the minimum, you realize that's a lot of money. They're just refreshing, because usually you hear these idiots talking about not being able to feed their family on $8 million a year.
Right.
And here's a guy saying, well, in the real world, we're talking about me making a lot of cash.
He's kicked from 36, from 38, and this from 41 yards is good. 3 consecutive field goals by Olindo Mare. And Miami extends their lead. Ricky Williams is running well against the Patriots today. That's what the Dolphins have done the last 4 possessions. Randy, they have scored on 4 of their 6 possessions today.
And those last 3 with the field goals and the number of plays, 11, 11, and 12, that's what they wanted to do here. That's one of the reasons they came to New England. Come up here, play the defending champion, have it be cold, and make them play your style of football.
Murray just hit one from 41 yards. There's a short kick, which is picked up by Patrick Pass, who is grabbed by Lester Towns, shy of the 40 at the 39, 21-yard return, and our clock at 8:53 in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. UPS, what can Brown do for you? And by the new AT&T, your world delivered.
Wednesday on CBS, start your new year off right with the new primetime show seen by more viewers than any other. Criminal Minds. It's on Wednesdays on CBS, America's #1 network. Here comes New England at the 39-yard line after the kickoff and after Omare's 41-yard field goal. And the run by Pass, the tackle made by Carter, and there's no gain on the play. Olindo Mare is kicked from 36, 38, 41 yards today.
You know, obviously, you want to finish your drives off with touchdowns instead of field goals, but when you're Miami and your defense is playing pretty stifling, you can take those Olindo Mare field goals and you can make this offense for New England with Castle at quarterback be very uncomfortable and almost be in a pressing situation.
5 in the secondary. Castle on second down and 10. Throws complete. A tackle made by Howard. It is on Bam Childress. The gain to the 43. It's a gain of 4.
But if you're a young quarterback, what a great place this would be for a guy like Matt Castle. Not only are you able to watch Tom Brady and how he performs and how he reads and kind of sit in a little bit about picking his brain. You know, how about picking Doug Flutie's brain? Right. This guy is a backup quarterback. I mean, his experience in college, the NFL, Canada, back to the NFL.
Starting defensive line is out there. 3rd and 6. The pitch out to Pass. Gets by Daniels, then banged out of bounds by Travaris Tillman. And the gain is to the 46, an 11-yard pickup, and it's a first down for New England.
I'll tell you, one of the keys of this whole thing is Bam Childress. We've been talking about him on special teams and playing defense, and the job that he does right here at wide receiver. It's not fancy and it's not exactly spectacular, but he's able to get the defender actually off his feet, and Travis Daniel can't make a tackle when his face is in the dirt.
1st and 10, 46. Pass with a nice play and a first down. End around to Dwight. Oh, Sprague read it well. And then Roth jumps on him and a loss of 5 back to the 48-yard line.
And Sprague's on a pretty decent list that Nick Saban had last night about guys that have really stepped up and done their job. And remember, Junior Seau started the season at this linebacker position. And Sprague and Madison and a few other guys in the defense were mentioned as people that have really stepped up and done exceptional jobs for this defense when called upon.
The linebacker that is being out because the 5 in the secondary is Crowder. Howard taking his place. 5 in the secondary, 2nd and 15. Castle throws, caught by Andre Davis. Galloping inside the 20 and down to the 15-yard line. Grabbed on the play by Madison, 36-yard pickup. Earlier in the game, Davis had a 65-yard kickoff return.
Well, how about that for reading the defense and delivering the ball? Childress lined up in a slot position, ran straight up the field. And that was an excellent job by Matt Castle of reading the defense and getting the ball to Childress, number 18. Just right there. That's fitting the ball in there. That's showing a little bit of what you got.
Davis with that catch, setting up a 1st and 10 with a gain of 2 on the play. That's Heath Evans, the ex-Dolphin, who runs it up the middle down to the 13-yard line.
I was here during the preseason for a lot of the kind of, as Castle referred to it, my publicity period. You know, during the preseason, he got an awful lot of attention throwing the ball to guys like Childress, throwing the ball to Andre Ware when he got there later on.
2nd down and 8, 13-yard line. Watson, the tight end, was in motion. They fling it outside to Evans, who is hit by Spragan and Zach Thomas and driven back 2 yards back to the 15-yard line. So a 36-yard pass to Davis sets him up deep in this territory. This is preceded by an 11-yard play by Patrick Pass.
Yeah, I see 44, and I see the New England Patriots, and you think back a couple of years when they won that first Super Bowl, that was Mark Edwards was wearing that 44.
Right.
Now they get Heath Evans from Miami earlier this season, a Dolphin, and he's in 44, but it looks like the same kind of body in that number.
Jeremiah Bell is coming in the secondary now for Miami as well. 3rd and 10. They got Childress and Davis and Dwight as their 3 New England receivers.
New England.
Timeout taken. New England calls a time. They've got 2 left.
Belichick ran 20 yards to call that one. Well, if you're going to have a little words of advice from somebody, you're Matt Castle. Look at Brady. Calls him back, says, Matt. You know, starts talking about the receiver in the slot, look for the safety.
After the New England timeout, it's 3rd and 10, and this is Castle, and he throws out of the reach of the tight end, Benjamin Watson. He was open too. Daniels, the cornerback, was in the vicinity, but New England can't get it in. They're going to have to try it for 3, and the starting defense of Miami holds them out.
It's said often about how fast the game in the NFL is, but you know what? Sometimes it's the quarterback that needs to slow down. Castle was a little bit quicker than he needed to be there. Just slow down a beat, and you get that ball to the quarterback, and he's talking to his quarterback coach right there, Daniels.
Well, Vinatieri kicked a 49-yard field goal before halftime. This is a 33-yard boot, which is in, tacking on 3 more, and New England to within 3 with 4:41 to play in the 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Taco Bell Big Bell Value Menu. To get full-on value, think outside the bun. And by Chevrolet, an American Revolution.
Well, you can never accuse Tom Brady of being out of the play. Here he is right here. Watch his reaction. Oh!
So they settle for a field goal, and here's the kickoff by Vinatieri, which is picked up on a bounce, or at least smothered on a bounce, by Travis Minor at the 22-yard line. And that is where Miami will start. We've had 2 touchdowns in the game. Williams a touchdown for the Dolphins, Brady a touchdown pass. Then we've had 3 Dolphins field goals and 2 Patriot field goals to get us to 16-13 Miami. Miami has scored the last 3 times they've had it. They've scored on 4 of their 6 possessions. This is their 7th from the 23, 1st and 10. Farrat, good block by Carey, providing time, and it's outside to McMichael, who is driven out of bounds by Poteet. The gain to the 30-yard line, and there's a pickup of 8 yards on the play. Tuesday, January 17th on CBS, Tom Cavanaugh stars as a record executive who talks about music and life and monkeys. Love Monkey is on. It's the series premiere coming January 17th on CBS.
I'm watching that show in the first edition just in a desperate hope they're going to explain that title.
2nd down and 2. And this is Ricky Williams ramming his way up the middle, taking it out to the 36-yard line, where he is gang tackled on the play and picked up by Banta Kane, gain of 5. Out to the 37-yard line, it's a 1st down.
Well, if you're Gus Farrat in this offense, just keep executing, but finish off a drive. Touchdown, not field goal.
Well, Childress now is one of the 4 defensive backs. Ricky Williams on 1st and 10. Submarines to the 41-yard line. And he is brought down by Matt Chatham. Gain of 4. Some of the headlines on our NFL Today program. Well, Dick Vermeil said he's retiring. He announced it today on CBS. And he is at 69, still has his health. And we'll look forward to the remaining years as we found out Michael Vick. Here's what Shannon said about Michael Vick and the experience in Atlanta with him.
Shuts down after Labor Day. Well, don't limit that to him. That whole football team shut down after Labor Day.
And then Leftwich or Garrard at quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't see there's a big difference, honestly. You look at their stats, look at the way they run. There's not really that big a difference. And I think Dan's got a point about them being a little bit rusty. It's unfortunate and tragic they had to go through what they had to with Tony Dungy's son James dying and everything. But here's a football team that was on just a high knee roll.
I don't know if they're rusty as much as they're injured. They've got some injuries, including to Corey Simon on the defensive line.
Well, Corey Simon, Monte Rieger, Robert Mathis. I mean, this team is defensively hurting in areas they don't really want to be hurting in.
Mike Wright, rookie, undrafted out of Cincinnati, is the Patriot player down at the 35. I'm thinking about the Bengals right now because that is a team which is going to lose. It looks like their second consecutive game. They haven't had a 2-game losing streak all season long as they're losing in Kansas City right now.
What they're in the process of doing is what you really don't want to do going into the playoffs, and that's kind of going into reverse because it's hard to get that thing started rolling forward again.
So Mike Wright was a college walk-on at Cincinnati and beat all the odds there. Comes in the NFL undrafted, beats the odds there, and makes a world championship New England team. Not bad. Dan Klecko has taken his place on the defensive line, and they've also got Marquise Hill on that defensive line, and Ty Warren, who normally starts, is still in there. Second down and 6, and a pass from Gus Frerotte to Chambers, brought down by Poteet. Has the first down, 46-yard line, gain of 13 on the play. We welcome those of you watching Cincinnati and Kansas City. Here, Miami coming in on a 5-game winning streak, taking on the defending champion Patriots, who are the victors of the AFC East at 10-5, and playing right now with basically second and third string people. Miami has kept their first stringers in there the entire game. Ricky Williams has a touchdown run, a lot of field goals both ways. From the 46, 1st and 10, Frerotte goes to Ronnie Brown, the good-looking rookie out of Auburn. And the game to the 39, it's a gain of 7 on the play. And Randy, the tackle made by Matt Chatham.
And again, why do you want to play for that number 3 seed? Though obviously Cincinnati would love to cough it up. It's a matter of whether or not New England wants it. I think we talked earlier about Indianapolis being hurt, Indianapolis not exactly being on a roll. That means you play if you're the number 3 seed, theoretically, if it goes to form in the championship game instead of divisional, there's a chance they could lose before that, and then you would go and host the AFC championship game. Why not?
Ronnie Brown on 2nd down and 3 with a gain of 1, works his way to the 38-yard line. Brady was the starter today, and on the 3rd possession, tossed an 11-yard touchdown pass to Deion Branch, which at that time tied the game at 7 apiece.
That's Deion Branch right next to him he's talking to, and Mike Vrabel in front of him. A lot of the regulars out here for New England. So if they are to get that number 3 seed, it'll be done by predominantly their backups. Their usual 13 quarterback, Matt Castle, the rookie out of USC, is in at quarterback.
3rd and 2, 5 in the secondary now for New England. Here's the 34-year-old Frerotte over the head of Wes Welker. It's incomplete. So it's 4th and 2, and the Dolphins have got a punt for the first time in 4 possessions. So here is our game summary again. Ricky Williams winding his way in from 2 yards away, followed by this touchdown strike to Branch from Tom Brady. And the Dolphins have gotten 3 consecutive field goals of 36, 38, and 41 yards from Olindo Mare. And the Patriots have gotten 2 consecutive field goals of 49 and 33 yards from Adam Vinatieri. Donnie Jones with a great hanging punt, which is caught at the 1-yard line by Gilmore and dropped at the 1-yard line and handed to Jason Glenn. A 37-yard, well-placed Donnie Jones punt. He's one of the best in the business. In fact, coming into today, he was number 1 in the NFL in net punting.
Well, Donnie Jones may be in net punting, but Gilmore is number 1 in catching those net punts right there. Perfect job. He downs it before he can go in. He throws it back into the field to play. I mean, that's execution-wise, special teams. That is absolutely letter perfect, and that puts Matt Castle in this offense for New England in a terrible position going against the starting defense for the Miami Dolphins. Remember, Carter and Traylor make it real tough to run, especially when you're going inside.
The quarterback is Matt Castle for New England, a rookie at 7th-round draft choice out of USC. He has been the backup to the 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks from Southern Cal. A couple years ago, Carson Palmer. Last year, Matt Leinart. Both Heisman Trophy winners. And here's what he has done today, 4 of 8. And here is who he used to back up.
He's got that Ott working. Ott at SC. Ott so far here as a pro. Last touchdown pass at Chatsworth High School in Southern California.
Here's the blitz by Howard. The ball is loose. It's out of the end zone. It's a safety.
Yeah,
that is a safety, and Reggie Howard, who came from Carolina a couple years ago, comes streaming through and brings them down, and New England's deficit climbs to 5.
Give those 2 points to Johnny Jones and the job he did punting that ball, and Brian Gilmore downing the ball where he did. The Dolphins came with the blitz, and I'm talking about a full-out blitz. New England decided that they were going to throw it, and Miami was more than happy of bringing this blitz. Watch them inside. They're bringing linebackers. They're bringing Howard, the safety, off the edge. That arm is not moving forward. Never has a chance to move forward.
That is also a sack, which equals Miami's single season high of 49 back in 1983. No defense has more sacks in the NFL this season than the Miami Dolphins.
So now 18-13 Miami. And to make it even worse, now you got to kick off if you're New England, and you got to get the punt. That was an excellent job by Howard taking the shortest route. That ball never goes forward. And Matt Castle looks like he never saw Howard coming around that corner.
That is the 9th sack by a Miami Dolphins secondary player. 9 from the secondary, which is a huge number. Tying the franchise record. 49 the most in the NFL this season, and now it's an 18-13 Miami lead.
And remember, this is the defense that only has 4 starters from last year. This is once again, the defense has been rebuilt scheme-wise and personnel-wise by Nick Saban and his staff.
So Josh Miller has got to punt it after a safety from the 20-yard line, lets it go. And Wes Welker from the 22-yard line for the Miami Dolphins. He breaks a tackle by Banza Kane, then is brought down by Hank Poteet and James Sanders. It's a 22-yard return, and the ball will be at about the 43-yard line. Well, next Saturday, starting at noon Eastern, it's an NCAA hoop triple header. First, it's the women as Rutgers battling Michigan State. Minnesota takes on LSU. Next, perennial powers UConn and Tennessee collide. Then it's the men's turn as Ohio State tangles with Indiana, or LSU visits Connecticut. That's next week on CBS. Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Minute 17 to play here in the third. 1st and 10, and the shotgun snap by Hadnot to Farrat, caught by McMichael. Breaks a Banza Kane tackle, then brought down by Matt Chatham. Diving to the 47-yard line, picking up 8 yards on that play.
Hey, remember, too, now with Cincinnati getting spanked by the Chiefs in Dick Vermeil's farewell game, what's at stake here? You know, who do you want if you're New England? Well, you could get Jacksonville. You know, they've met twice and split them, and that's a team that doesn't have quite the offense that the other possibilities have for you when you look down the road compared to Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
Ricky Williams in the backfield on this 2nd and 2. And he is tripped up by Poteet and brought down by Stone. Still a yard shy of the first down after a gain of a yard down to the 47-yard line.
Now, Jacksonville's the 5 seed, so if you stay in the 4 slot, you're going to play them. Now, if you go up to the 3 seed, you're going to play the 6 seed, which is Pittsburgh or Kansas City. And it's well established what these Pittsburgh-New England games are like. They're physical, they're tough, but remember also, Adam Vinatieri and the Patriots know how to beat Bill Cowher and the Steelers.
This will take us to the end of the third quarter. A safety moments ago on a Miami sack gives the Dolphins an 18-13 lead on the world champs at the end of 3. We begin the fourth quarter with the Miami 3rd and 1, and Ricky Williams getting tangled up, and with no gain on the play, Matt Chatham coming through, throwing Ricky for a 3-yard loss. It's back to midfield, and Miami has got a punt.
Well, when you make a play like that, everybody's happy and laughing, and you look at Bill Cowher here on the sideline.
Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick.
We're thinking Pittsburgh. We got a lot of teams on our mind.
Enjoying his time here with Willie McGinnis. Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel.
Here's the punt by Donnie Jones, waved off by Dwight, and takes a good Miami roll and bounce to the 9-yard line. So the Dolphins, who have the longest current AFC winning streak at 5 consecutive games, leading the world champions in 14:21 left. A 3rd or 4th seed is right now for grabs in the AFC. New England is fighting for that. Miami trying to finish the season with 6 consecutive wins.
Miami trying to make an point to New England for next year in this division.
Patrick Pass gets the pass outside of the little handoff and weaves his way out to the 14-yard line, picking up 4 on the play and brought down by Zach Thomas. So it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Need a little confidence from Matt Castle. Not only confidence in throwing, but confidence in his protection after getting blistered the way he did in the end zone for that safety.
3 of the 5 offensive linemen for New England are backups. A handoff to Pass on that 2nd down and 6, and works his way into the teeth of Miami's line with Zach Thomas coming through after a 2-yard gain. Thomas makes the tackle. Gain to the 16-yard line.
Some tough sledding when you're running inside on Zach Thomas and Kevin Carter and Traylor inside, and don't forget Jason Taylor working on the outside. Probably one of the more underappreciated aspects of his game is his ability to stuff and redirect runs inside from that defensive end position.
Dwight is a receiver. They've got Andre Davis at the bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 4. 5 in the Miami secondary. Howard is the 5th. Quick throw, dropped. Intended for Davis, in the coverage by linebacker Donnie Spragan, and quickly New England's got a punt, 3 and out. Miami will get it back, and here come the boos cascading down from the upper deck. 4th and 4.
Well, I tell you what's going to start here pretty soon, and this is week 17, and they're getting ready to go to the playoffs next week. The crowd here is going to want to see Doug Flutie. Bill Cowher talked about, hopefully getting him in sometime in the 4th quarter, no matter what the situation was in the ball game, but Belichick getting him into the ball game, and what a great time to see Doug Flutie, see what he can do in this ball game.
Josh Miller will punt, and Wes Welker is back. Fair caught, his own 49. 35-yard punt. Miami gets it back, leading by 5 at 12:58 in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
There's our score, early 4th quarter. Randy, if you're New England, you want to be a 3rd seed or a 4th seed?
I think you want to be a 3rd, because you spent this game watching Miami do basically what they wanted to do, come in here and dictate to the New England Patriots. But this is all setting up for a Doug Flutie coming in, end of the game, and really trying to pull off some heroics. It really depends on what they can do as far as defense goes in stopping Miami here.
It's Ricky Williams on 1st and 10, explodes outside, brought down by Chad Brown. 44-yard line, hard-earned 7 yards by Ricky Williams, who today has carried it for 97 yards.
Isn't it fun to see him run the way he is now, especially that lateral explosion he has when he can go up into the hole and then sideways burst? It kind of takes you back to his days back in Austin for the University of Texas in his Heisman Trophy days.
Only a couple starters defensively out there for New England. 2nd down and 3. All the starters out there offensively for Miami. 44-yard line. Farad. Oh, there was a good block by Williams on Stone. And then the pass is incomplete, looking for Chambers, and covered by Poteet down the near side.
Well, good point about that block, Kevin, because Ricky Williams, it's not always a dramatic way to do it. You don't have to post a guy up and just, stone him in his chest when you hit him. Stone was coming on that blitz, and Ricky Williams just sliced him right down at Farad's feet.
5th defensive back has come in for the New England Patriots. 3rd down and 3 from the New England 44. Brown is in for Williams. Welker back there also. Gilmore is the 3rd receiver. Farad Caught by Welker, grabbed by the rookie Sanders, has the first down to the 35-yard line. It's a 10-yard gain on 3rd and 3.
A wonderful job by Gus Frerotte getting the blitz, reading the blitz, and just getting the ball out of his hand. Bam Childers was coming in there, the wide receiver signed this week and brought in now and playing a little bit of defense as well as special teams, and he saw that blitz by Childress and got that ball out perfectly to Welker.
Booker back in, 1st and 10, and this is Ronnie Brown, who's been injured but is playing today. Did not start. Grabbed by Sanders at the 29, gain of 6.
And Kevin, that last 3rd down was the 10th time today that Miami's had 3rd and short, 3 or less. That really tells you that the offense is kind of on a roll, and they're moving the ball well. They're controlling the time of possession. They're controlling the ground. Ricky Williams is running the ball well, and when he's been asked to, Ronnie Brown's blocked and ran well.
Welker, the 3rd receiver, 2nd down 4. Brown in the backfield from the New England 29. Look at the time. That's off to Brown. Grabbed by Monty Beisel. 24-yard line, gain of 6. They got the first down.
Kevin, that's an example, too. One of the reasons they were so excited about Ronnie Brown, and Ronnie Brown came as no surprise to Nick Saban. After his time at LSU, he watched Ronnie Brown at Auburn along with Cadillac Williams, and he knew of those two guys that Ronnie Brown was the most complete back. Blocks the best, catches the ball best out of the backfield.
1st and 10. Ronnie Brown again following a block of his second tight end, Lorenzo Diamond. Brought down by Dan Klecko after a gain of 3 to the 20-yard line. So Miami continues to move it, leading by 5 tonight on 60 Minutes. Would you pay to travel in space? Get your checkbook ready because your chance is coming, plus the science of living longer. That's tonight on 60 Minutes, America's #1 news magazine. A safety by the Dolphins. 3 field goals and a Ricky Williams touchdown run of 2 yards. 2nd down and 7 from the 20. Williams back in, gives another block outside to Lorenzo Diamond, who's knocked out of bounds by Poteet near the 10-yard line. It's a catch and run of about 10 yards on the play as Miami took this drive at the 49-yard line in their own territory.
Watch the blitz come from the backside, Kevin. You talk about that internal clock for a quarterback. You can't see that rush, but it looks like Frerotte just felt it and got that ball out of there in perfect time. You know, if you're in that situation and you hold it too long, you're asking for a backside headache from Bantacane.
So as Diamond gets to just his 8th reception of the season, he sets up at 1st and goal at the 10. Flag is thrown. Little false start.
False start. Number 63 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains. First down.
Now, Kevin, there's one of those mistakes that they were making earlier in the season, and that Nick Saban had kind of gotten out of this football team. They weren't turning the ball over. They aren't making the mistakes, and there's one that kind of rears up at a bad time, because finishing this drive off with a touchdown is so important. It puts it out to a 12-point lead. Another field goal makes it only 8 points.
Dolphins take out their tight end and fullback, put in 2 more wide receivers. 1st and goal from the 15. Ricky Williams is in and goes out on a pattern, and the throw by Frerotte to the end zone. Caught. Marty Booker in the corner for a touchdown. A 15-yard toss by Gus Frerotte to Marty Booker with just his 3rd touchdown reception of the year.
Great patience, excellent protection. You talk about quarterbacks as a delivery system. That is an absolutely perfect delivery system by Gus Frerotte. He stays in, knows the hit's coming. He gets the hit, but he delivers his 18th touchdown of the year, his career high as a quarterback in the league. Last time he had 17 was in Washington when he took them to the playoffs.
And Booker makes his season-high 7th catch, and a beauty it is, winning the battle in the end zone.
After the score, we got unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 86 from Miami.
Booker, who caught the ball.
That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And if you're going to go for a kind of a, organized celebration between he and Chambers, who wants to celebrate with a tip basket? You're supposed to be a slam dunk. At least get your money's worth. I mean, you're going to get 10 yards, go for the whole 10.
Well, it's interesting. Chambers played some college basketball at the University of Wisconsin as the extra point goes floating through, but he did get the offensive rebound. Booker with the touchdown reception. Frerotte is 18th of the year, 25-13 Miami. Happy New Year from Foxborough, 25-13. Miami riding a 5-game winning streak, leading here. Throughout the touchdown pass moments ago as Booker beat Childress and Sanders in the end zone. A couple of rookies.
And that 15-yard penalty puts the kickoff back to the 15, so the Pats down 12 will get good field position.
And Olindo Mare with one of the stronger legs kicking off in the NFL. Picked up inside the 20-yard line by Tim Dwight, a track star in the Big Ten. Jeremiah Bell brings him down at the 47-yard line, a 30-yard return. The second and third units come out for Miami's defense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM. Become an on-demand business. IBM can help. And by Prudential Financial. Choose Prudential Financial to help you grow and protect your wealth.
The Miami starting defense has talked their way back out onto the field. The second and third teamers are getting ready to come out, and then they put the starters back out there. So after the kickoff by the Dolphins, after the touchdown pass to Booker, and there's Scanina ramming his way into Hochstein. The starters got a reprieve. They want to go back out there and play some more, so sure enough, there they are. But
well, it's 25-13. You've got 9 minutes to go in this game. You're up by 12 points, and you know there's reasons that New England wants to win this.
Number 91, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And if you're Bill Cowher, you know you're playing with some backups, but you still want to win. I mean, if you don't win the game, you get Jacksonville, and then you probably face Indy in the divisional round. Now, if you win this game, you're the 3rd seed. You get Pittsburgh in the first round. Then you probably go to Denver in week 2 and don't go to Indy till week 3.
Castle on 1st and 5. Throws downfield. First catch today by the tight end. Watson brought down by Zach Thomas. He carries under the 19-yard line. It's a catch and run of 30 yards and a first down, and the longest completion in Castle's NFL career.
And there's a good reason why you keep the starting defense in, because Bill Belichick's offense is still firing away, even with the back and a 3rd-string quarterback in Matt Castle. But there's nothing 3rd-string about Benjamin Watson, what he can do as a tight end in this offense.
Davis along with Dwight are the receivers. They've got Patrick Pass in the backfield. Corey Dillon was inactive today. 19-yard line, first down and 10. The starting center is Hochstein. He remains in the game and throws it back to Castle, who's on the move. He needs to get to the 9 for the first down. Swerving to the 11. Brought down on the play by Channing Crowder and Zach Thomas. That's a run of 8 yards, just shy, make it the 10-yard line official.
This youngster out of USC, Matt Castle, in his first action this preseason for Tom Brady, he came in and he led a team on a 2-minute drill routine against Cincinnati for a touchdown, and then came back and got a field goal in the same 2-minute period, getting 10 points. So what he can really do is not only throw the ball pretty well, he adds another element with his speed and his feet.
Second down, long one. Heath Evans gets the call. Fourier was the lead blocker, and Spragan, the linebacker for Miami, with the tackle and allowing no gain on the play at the 10. Spragan came from the Denver Broncos this offseason, and with Junior Seau out, Spragan becomes a starter.
And Matt Castle's in here after Tom Brady started off a little shaky, overthrew an open Andre Davis on his first pass, had a tip ball won by David Givens, then the second ball was intercepted, but came back with a beautifully thrown and wonderfully caught touchdown by Deion Branch.
2 tight ends in there, 3rd and 1, and Castle takes it himself. And looks like he's carved the necessary yards for the first. He had to get to the 9, and they'll unpile them and see what they've got at the bottom of that pile. New England and their starters are not in, so it's hard to equate this with what they've done in the past this year. But they do have 3 fourth-quarter comebacks led by Tom Brady. They get the first down. And does New England.
And this is still setting up. They're down by 12 points. It's still setting up from what we talked about earlier, that young Matt Castle may be leading this team to a touchdown now, but next time they get the ball back, Bill Belichick is going to send in Doug Flutie, I believe.
Still 2 tight ends. First down and goal, and the ball is at the 9. Dropped as he went in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Dwight crosses. They're signaling a touchdown. 9 yards. Tim Dwight.
It's that plane, that goal line plane that goes around the world, and he takes the ball, Tim Dwight, and he creases that plane. That's all you have to do. Get it across there. 6 points. Ball coming out is just superfluous. Doesn't really matter. They're going. Flutie's in, going for 2.
Miami has taken wisely a timeout. That's the first they burned in the second half with 6:10 to play in the fourth quarter.
Did you see that formation? I mean, they literally came out in a field goal extra point formation. They split out the receiver to the left, Bam Childress, and Doug Flutie was in the shotgun position. You know, at his size and his number, they could really think it was a kicker.
This is the 9-yard pass from Castle to Tim Dwight. And the Dolphins still trying to decide if indeed he crossed. He certainly coughed it up as we see, but as Randy said, once he breaks the plane.
See, he breaks the plane before he hits the ground.
Yes.
And once he breaks the plane, all bets are off. That's a touchdown.
And as you see, the first of young Matt Castle's career, the rookie out of USC, Doug Flutie, will be out there in a very strange formation, trying for 2. Or will it be a drop kick, perhaps? Drop kick for the extra point. It is up and in. Can you believe that? And what might be Doug Flutie's last professional football game.
Look at Belichick.
That is 1 point, and it's 25-20. Miami's lead cut down to 5.
That alone worth the price of admission right here for these fans in New England. Last time a drop kick happened in the NFL, we were talking leather helmets, and they were taking trains and buses to games. Amazing execution. Now, this is something, you know, somebody can do this because they do it in practice. Doug Flutie's probably been messing around in practice since college or high school, drop kicking footballs. And remember, if you drop
kick, I mean, it's right down the middle.
You drop kick it, you hit it, it actually contacts the ground, and you're kicking it off the ground briefly. See, watch, it hits the ground, it bounces, and I mean, Vinatieri didn't hit one any straighter than that.
I've been broadcasting NFL games for 20 consecutive years. I've never seen them.
Well, I've been around the NFL for now. This is my 30th year playing and broadcasting, and I never even seen anybody think about it, much less do it. We used to do it in practice. I played rugby at UCLA. We did it then.
Boy, the coach loved that. Like I said, this might be Flutie's last professional game at 43 and 12 years in the NFL, but all those great seasons up in the Canadian Football League, this may be it.
You've been around a lot of good coaches in this league, Kevin. Have you ever been around one that appreciates the history of this game more than Bill Belichick?
He is a walking encyclopedia. He is a guy that has embraced the history of this game.
Now, there's a stat line for your career. 86 touchdowns, 1 extra point.
Vinatieri's ensuing kickoff. And this will go out of bounds. And so Miami will start at the 40-yard line.
They should have let Flutie drop kick it. He would have kicked it out of bounds.
It would have been great. You know, Flutie has played 21 seasons of professional football. He has passed for over 58,000 yards, 350 touchdowns. During his days in the Canadian Football League, he captured 3 Grey Cups. And he was named the league's MVP an unprecedented 6 times. He took Buffalo to the playoffs and then recharged San Diego. And here he is winding. He's a Massachusetts boy, played at Boston College. What an interesting play. Still lives in Natick from the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. This is Ricky Williams as he drags a pile out to the 44-yard line, and he's brought down on the play by young Marquise Hill on a gain of 4.
And all those highlights in the NFL don't really sum up that one play. That when you think of Doug Flutie, you think of the one play.
Back in 1984, at Boston College, it was a Heisman Trophy winning season for Flutie.
Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
That stunned college football. We just missed a 7-yard run by Ricky Williams on 2nd down and 6. He gets a first down. He's into Patriot territory. Ricky Williams to the 49 of New England. And Williams with 108 yards today and 26 carries. Miami's got their starters out there still. They're dead serious about this.
Well, that's been part of the mission. Pound them with Ricky, be consistent on defense, and show New England you can hang with them.
Welker is the third receiver. There was a good tackle by Tully Banta-Kane. A poor block by McMichael. A meager gain of a yard to the 48 for Ricky Williams.
Now you know why this crowd's going crazy. Nick Saban knows why this crowd's getting more and more excited. They saw the drop kick by Flutie. They're down by 5 points, 25-20. They want this defense to rear up and stop Miami and get the ball back for New England so Doug Flutie can come in one last time at quarterback.
There are only a couple starters out there, including Ty Warren on the New England defensive line. Second down and 9 from the 48 for Miami. Here's Farrant to Randy McMichael, who's brought down by Banta-Kane to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3. It's going to set up third down and about 6.
Hey, you just saw something that whether they're backups or starters for New England, that this defense really does well, and that's close to the ball and tackle. You see receivers, when we catch a ball in front of this kind of New England cover 2 type defense, those linebackers and defensive backs close to the ball and tackle as good as anybody in the league.
Third and 6, a fifth New England defensive back has been brought in. Brown is in the backfield from the 45-yard line. And Farrant throws, and a great catch made by Chambers, who is down at the 25. Brought down by Izzo. It's a gain of 20 on 3rd and 6. A big-time completion of Miami. First down.
And a good change of pace by the Miami Dolphins offense. Scott Linehan knows that he's had Marty Booker big on 3rd down all day today. And on this next 3rd down, what does he do? He goes to Chris Chambers, leaves Booker on an out pattern, taking away the attention, then goes to his Pro Bowl receiver, Chris Chambers.
2 timeouts remaining for both teams. 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Ricky Williams back in. Darian Barnes, the fullback, ahead of him. Barnes the block, Williams the catch, the tackle made by the starter, Ty Warren. Gain is to about the 26. I'm sorry, it's a loss of about a half yard on the play, so they'll stay right where they were.
So we're now under 3 minutes, and there's 2 timeouts on both sides.
Clock is continuing to tick, and again, each team with 2 timeouts left. Second down, long 10.
And you're already inside of Olindo Mare's field goal range.
Welker is the third receiver. 5 in the secondary for New England. And Farrant on the fly. And out of the reach of Welker, who's covered by the kid they just brought up from the practice squad this week, Bam Childress, a rookie out of Ohio State, who's played receiver today, and he has played defensive back today.
So it's 2:23, 2 timeouts left. From this spot, you're talking about, probably a 44-yard field goal, and we've already seen Vinatieri hit a 49-yarder that barely eked over the top. I don't know if Olindo Mare can kick this cold rock that is this Wilson football 44 yards in this weather, but we may be about to find out.
Brown is in the backfield. It's 3rd and 11. 27-yard line. Ronnie Brown, the rookie, tripped up and brought down. Childress fell on him, but it was Don Davis out of Kansas who brought him down. The gain to the 24, a pickup of 3. And Olindo Mare, who has kicked field goals of 36, 38, and 41 yards, will walk out onto the field. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Interesting game as the Dolphins go for their 6th consecutive win. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Greg Gumbel and company for the latest NFL scores, highlights, and playoff news. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show from New York.
Well, if Mare wants to show us something here, why doesn't he drop kick it?
Like Flutie did for the extra point moments ago.
Yeah, he had to be doing that since he was in high school, and one of his goals in life had to be in a real game to get the drop kick for points, and Doug Flutie finally did it.
Here is a 42-yard try. And Olindo Mare is perfect again. He's hit from 36, 38, 42, and 41 yards today. They've also gotten a safety, so the defense has scored for Miami. There's been a touchdown pass to Booker. There's been a touchdown run by Ricky Williams. The Dolphins have done it every way, and they lead by 8. with 1:55 to play in regulation. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, would you pay to travel in space? Go get your checkbook because you'll find out how tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by Cold Case, then Diane Keaton stars the world premiere movie Surrender Dorothy. That's tonight on CBS, America's #1 network, with Super Bowl champion Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Nick Saban brings his 8-7 Dolphins into Foxborough, riding the longest winning streak right now in the AFC, the current streak of 5 consecutive wins.
And about 6 weeks ago, he made a comment that it's not about the record. Don't pay any attention to the scoreboard. It's not about winning and losing. It's about, being responsible and doing it the right way. And I tell you, I've taken one thing away from this game, as a watcher of this football team. This is a different Dolphins team. When was the last time you saw a Dolphin team go undefeated in December? Ever?
Long time.
Hasn't. And now they're going to start the new year with the win, I think, here on January 1st. I mean, he's changed a culture and a mindset of this football team. And it's up to Doug Flutie and the Patriots at a last-second desperation here to see if they can't change that.
Well, and Demare's kickoff is away, and Tim Dwight at the goal line, bobbling it, and then reeling it back in for the New England Patriots. And breaks an Eddie Jackson tackle. Orlando Mare then clubs him out of bounds at about the 38-yard line on a 38-yard return. A good-looking return by Dwight. The clock at 1:48. And let's see who our quarterback is going to be for New England. It'll be Matt Castle. If the Dolphins win, it will be their first win here since Christmas Eve 2000. It would give them their first 6-game winning streak since 1992. And a win would give Miami their best finish to a season since 1985.
New England in need of a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
From the 37, Castle. 1st and 10. Gorn providing a block. First-string defense still in there for Miami, and he'll scamper out of bounds to about the 41. Howard ushers him out. 5 are in the secondary for Miami as we begin this New England drive. It's a gain of 2 on the play. You see the timeout story. Mainly second-string players in now offensively for New England. It's been that way for most of the second half.
Well, it's been from the very beginning a story in this game for New England of wanting some execution, but wanting to get out of here clean and healthy. And they're going to get out of this game clean and healthy. And it's up to Matt Castle and his offense to see whether or not they can get out of here with a win.
2nd down and 9. Castle hit as he throws, caught by Heath Evans, grabbed by Zach Thomas. Over 100 tackles again this year. Gain of 4 and out to the 44.
Needless to say, 2-down territory here for the Patriots offense.
Deion Branch has been brought in the game. 3rd down and 5. Branch has just come in. Castle to Branch. He's grabbed by Travis Daniels. Midfield. The catch is made. They get a 1st down. Gain of 6. And it will be a timeout. Flag is down as well. 1:13 to play in regulation.
I think it was an illegal formation.
Well, like I said, Branch was brought in hurriedly, and you couldn't tell if he was really on the same page as the play.
Illegal motion. Number 86, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Will remain 3rd down.
And 86 is Tim Dwight.
Well, here's Tim Dwight right here on the bottom of the screen. Takes that giant step towards the line of scrimmage right as the ball's being snapped. If it was still Canada, where Flutie was for several years, that'd be legal.
You'd be okay.
Or the Arena League.
Yes. 3rd and 9. Officially at the 39-yard line. And now they're taking Branch and putting him out of bounds. They're taking him out of the game. Here comes David Bowens on that defensive line for Miami as Castle throws, and it's caught. Cam Childress grabbed by Jason Taylor. The gain to the 40-yard line. A 22-yard pickup.
There's conditions like this, too, that why there's a good argument as to why you practice outside if you're the Patriots all the time. It's getting colder and colder as the day goes on. You are playing with backups, but Bill Belichick, from the very day he got here, has stressed the fact that, hey, look, we play outdoors, we're going to practice outdoors, and they learn to adapt to these conditions. Because when you drill a ball like this, you better be used to catching a tight spiral in these kind of conditions, and Childress does a great job of bringing that one in. Well, it's not quite that frozen, but it's pretty close.
Dolphins are playing with 6 in the secondary. Coming up in the Subway postgame show, Craig Gumbel and all his friends for the latest NFL scores, highlights, and playoff news. That's next on the Subway postgame show from New York. And New England won today, and Cincinnati, of course, losing in Kansas City. New England would have been in the 3rd seed. There's still a lot to be decided here with 62 seconds left in regulation. 1st and 10 from the Miami 40. Castle. Bowens is on the other side now, rushing Castle. Outside for Andre Davis. Undercut by the rookie Travis Daniels. Has the first down. Gain of 11 yards, 29-yard line.
Quickly get on the ball. If you haven't called a play, you better spike it.
Castle does spike it, so now it will be 2nd down and 10. The clock, 46 seconds. New England has a timeout. Miami's got 2.
Remember, the last time this team had the ball, Matt Castle and company moved the ball pretty crisply down the field and finished it off with a touchdown to Tim Dwight and then the great Doug Flutie, who finishes off a wonderful professional career at 43 years old, I think, and with himself a little drop kick.
2nd and 10, 29-yard line. Here comes the blitz from Jeremiah Bell. Castle avoids it niftily out of the pocket, and the throw to Bam Childress incomplete, and the coverage by Travaris Tillman. No yellow on the field with 40 seconds to play. 3rd and 10. Look at he hit the thing so hard he bent the yard marker.
Pretty nifty move there by Castle to get out and avoid that. But Bam Childress was thrown down right on that yard marker. That'll leave a mark and an impression, not only on the yard marker, but also on Bam Childress.
We just found out that was the first successful drop kick in professional football since 1941 in the NFL. 3rd down and 10. Castle off to Heath Evans. And he's got room to roam and a blocker ahead. Burchkowski gives him a block. He corkscrews inside. A flag is down. He's inside the 5. He's tackled by Tillman at the 4. It's a 24-yard catch and run.
Was that a hold or a face mask?
The clock at 28 seconds.
When you get a guy twisting and turning and spinning like that, the offensive line's doing all they can out in front of that screen pass for Evans. And first thing I always think of when I see a flag in that circumstance is somebody might have tugged on a face mask or grabbed a jersey.
Holding during the run. New England, 10-yard penalty. That penalty will leave it short of the line to gain. To remain 3rd down.
Back to the 20-yard line. The Miami Dolphins are leading 28-20. They haven't won here since Christmas Eve 2000. They come into today with the longest winning streak in the AFC of 5 consecutive games. We welcome those of you who have watched Kansas City beat the Cincinnati Bengals with headlines coming out of Kansas City and the announced retirement of Dick Vermeil. Tom Brady played early in the game, threw a touchdown pass. They yanked him. They brought in the rookie out of USC, Matt Castle. He has thrown a 9-yard touchdown pass to Tim Dwight. We've had a couple of field goals for the Patriots. Miami has gotten 4 field goals, a touchdown pass, a safety, and a touchdown run by Ricky Williams.
And the last New England drive for a touchdown pass from Matt Castle to Tim Dwight, you folks would have seen a extra point done in a drop kick. First time since 1941 that's happened.
Tom White's crew is still discussing the proceedings on the field. It's at the 20-yard line. It is a spot foul. As it stands now, it is 3rd and 1. New England with a single timeout remaining. Miami's got 2. Miami has played with their starters most of the game. They are not going to the playoffs. Nick Saban in his first year. New England has played basically the second half with 2nd and 3rd string players.
And here's a holding right here on Andre Davis.
Play clock to 14 seconds.
That's when the tug came down and the play clock being set down, the play clock to 14 seconds. The game clock's at 29 seconds. New England has 1 timeout and 3rd and less than a yard.
They've got Childress and Dwight and Andre Davis as the receivers. Watson is their tight end. 3rd and 1 on the spot foul from the Miami 20. Cancel. And here comes the rush by Bowens and by Vonnie Holliday, and the throw is out of bounds and incomplete. We're down to 22 seconds to play, where it is now 4th and 1 for New England.
So now remember, Kansas City is 1. So this outcome does have meaning as far as the 3 and the 4 seed.
But Kansas City is done because Pittsburgh took care of Detroit today.
But we're talking about that 3-4 seed between New England and Cincinnati.
And that does have relevance. That is still alive. 4th and 1. New England has converted 2 4th and 1s today, and they try for another as Castle grinds it. Clock is going. Looks like he's got the first down. Looks like New England will burn their final timeout, and they do.
Yeah, Matt Castle couldn't call it. He was buried underneath that pile. Bill Cowher is about 5 yards onto the field. Bill Belichick came on the field to call that timeout. Matt Castle easily gets it there on that sneak.
What a great learning experience for Matt Castle. We've told most of our audience, but we'll tell our Kansas City and Cincinnati audiences as well, that he was the backup at USC for both Carson Palmer, a Heisman Trophy winner, and Matt Leinart, a Heisman Trophy winner. And he's, of course, the backup here to Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady. He is a 7th round pick out of USC.
So now no timeouts, Kevin, and 16 seconds left. And Belichick's offense and his young quarterback, Matt Castle, really have nothing left to go for here but to get this ball and stick it into the end zone and keep the ball inbound. I mean, get the ball out of bounds. If you catch it and you're not in the end zone, you better be heading out.
They took over at the 38. It is 1st and 10 at the 18. Castle with the block from Watson, the tight end to the end zone, and volleyballed and intercepted. Picked off by Reggie Howard.
Flag down.
Flag is down back at the 33-yard line. Roughing the passer, perhaps.
Was right in that territory. It's either roughing the passer or hitting the passer in the head.
Howard, who picked off that pass, which may go for naught, has a safety today and a sack.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. 99.
Jason Taylor.
First down.
9 seconds left in regulation.
Taylor's coming off the defensive right end. Coming right there. Watch how he finishes that off. Ball's gone. And that little push down to the ground. And we've seen it time after time after time now the last couple years. Saban doesn't like it. Belichick doesn't mind it. Can Castle take advantage of it?
New England has no timeout. 6 in the secondary for Miami. 1st and goal at the 9. Castle to the end zone and through the hands of Tim Dwight. Incomplete. Clock now at 5 seconds left in regulation.
Now this young quarterback, former SC, was just geeked. He guns this thing. It just zips past Benjamin Watson. Tim Dwight misses it and then has a little close encounter of the wrong kind with the goalpost.
2nd down and goal at the 9. Davis a receiver. Dwight and Childress receivers.
This'll do it.
Castle to the end zone. Caught! It's a touchdown! The tight end, Benjamin Watson. Can you believe this? With no time in regulation and the 2-point try in waiting. Castle throws his 2nd NFL touchdown.
Miami coming after the young quarterback, Matt Castle. The New England offensive line does a nice job of protection, and does Matt Castle use that baseball pitcher arm and zip that thing to Benjamin Watson. A lot of heat and a perfect catch.
Now the 2-point try. No time remains on the clock, and Miami has taken a 2nd timeout with, of course, the 1 remaining. What a comeback for the New England Patriots, playing with 2nd and 3rd team personnel in the receiving core on the offensive line against the 1st team of Miami.
And who says week 17 games that all the starters play and people don't care, huh? Remember, the 3rd and 4th seed are at stake here.
USC rookie quarterback for the Patriots, Matt Castle, has just thrown his 2nd touchdown pass. which brings New England to within 2 with no time left on regulation. If the Patriots win, they're the 3 seed by virtue of Cincy's loss in Kansas City.
And Pittsburgh comes here next week. If they lose, they're the 4 seed, and Jacksonville comes here next week.
Well, here it is. They'll try to tie in the 2-point try. Castle for the tie, and that's it, and Miami wins it. The Dolphins win their 6th consecutive game. It is their first 6-game winning streak since '92, their best finish to a season since '85. They end the season 9-7, but out of the playoffs. New England is the 4 seed. They finished 10-6. But what a terrific game, which featured, for you folks who just joined us, a drop kick extra point by 43-year-old Doug Flutie. This was the missed 2-point conversion. Matt Castle throws 2 touchdown passes. Tom Brady threw a touchdown pass early in the game, but the Patriots come up short. A furious comeback. Falls 2 points shy. So now for Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Foxborough, where the final score, Miami by 2, 28-26. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show with Greg Gumbel and company in New York. Happy New Year, everyone, from Foxborough. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We take a break, then take you to New York on America's #1 network, CBS.